Theory,
and Mauler.
What's the situation?
And Ryan Kinel, and the critical
right.
drinker.
And everybody just keep adding to it here.
Yeah, and eventually.
Guest starring.
Yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. How you doing? We're here with two new gentlemen. I hope you guys are excited. And we're going to talk about Star Trek today. So
Sweet.
lot to discuss. But yeah, the gentleman to my, I guess would be my right for you guys, is critical drinker.
Yeah.
And then we got, of course, Ryan.
What's up? Returning
Okay.
to the
Hello,
stream.
Ryan.
And we got, of
Hello,
course,
Mauler.
Mauler.
And
Yeah,
hello,
nice
Star
to
Wars
meet you
Theory.
two. Haven't seen you around, you know.
The
It's been a while
misogynist.
since I've been on with
Misogynist
Mauler.
right here.
You know, oh yeah, you're a misogynist. I heard. You know, I just let my work speak for itself. I don't make videos calling myself one. But you know, props to you though. I saw
I was
that.
talking
It really is like
Yeah.
that whole meme of like first time. You know?
It's like collecting fucking Pokemon. Like, I just got Blastoise. It's like, oh, cool. We've
Yeah.
had that for a while, but that's
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, I know. I was telling Mauler last night. He's like, welcome to the club. It's
Yeah.
basically the entrance. I was like, oh, nice.
The
Cool.
club's getting full though. It's almost at capacity. You know what I mean? Like at some
So I'm
point they
looking
gotta
around,
stop
like,
letting
wait,
people in.
who isn't in the club? You're like, damn.
Yeah. Well, it kind of got to that point where it's like anyone who criticized Star Wars in any way is in the club. And so that's a lot of people at this point. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Ever growing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Today we're going to be talking about. Honestly, I don't even know what is going on in the news today. There's no Star Wars real news, so let's just.
Well, I don't think you guys
take
have
it
done
where
a
it goes.
Star Grift since you know, a big new movie was announced, right?
Ooh.
Oh,
true.
yeah.
The next
Oh,
step.
Mando movie.
We
right.
we
right,
talked
right,
a little bit about this on Open Bar.
Right.
Shared our thoughts.
Right. Okay.
I mean, because
Ryan,
that's now
you
what the
started off.
headlines are, right? I mean,
You started off. Yeah.
for the first 10 or 11 days of 2024, every headline was about Sharmino Obaid-Chinoy, about her comments, about the movie, as like people that didn't pay attention 8 months prior when all this stuff was out there anyway. And you finally saw some of the talking heads that aren't as engaged with entertainment pick it up and make it go viral.
Yeah.
So then Lucasfilm just happened to decide it was a perfect time to change the narrative, change the headlines, and announced, hey guys, aren't you excited for The Mandalorian and Grogu? Sorry, from the same creative team that brought you Mandalorian season 3. Here comes the Mando movie.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it you called it? Grongu, the Blandalorian and Grongu
Rugo.
on
Grongu.
Rugo. Yeah.
Rugo is
Rugo's-
At this point, I mean, who even cares? But like, yeah, man, it's correct me if I'm wrong. Big movie announcements like this are traditionally made at things like Star Wars Celebration because that's when they line up all their upcoming slate of releases and they can really build up the hype for it and get a good audience. This really felt like, quick, just get something on social media now. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a Mandalorian movie coming. Okay, sure, that's totally believable.
What do you think about it? Are you more excited for that or for it to be a show?
So
Excited is a
excitement,
choice of words.
excitement, yeah,
He's
excitement's a
teeming
strong
with
word.
excitement.
Okay, so I'll be fair on this one, right? I am on the meta level, just from the production side of things. It's kind of interesting that they managed to get Jon Favreau back and that he's doing a movie. And were it in any other studio, I would say, well, he's got a good chance of producing something halfway decent here. Within the context of Disney and the framework that they've created, the environment they've created, I don't think he's got any chance of producing anything good because I think this will be constrained by all of the usual rules that come with like making anything within the Disney umbrella. You know, it's going to have loads of nostalgia baiting. It's going to have loads of crappy humor that probably it doesn't need. It's probably going to have a strong female companion who's going to be better than the Mando at everything. It's going to kill it. And on a purely conceptual, creative level, I am so fucking over these two characters. I don't care about the Mandalorian. I never cared about Grongu. So I'm just going to go with Mauler's name for it now. I love it. Yeah, man, he was just there to sell merchandise. That's all he was. He's not a character in the normal sense because he doesn't have a personality. And the Mandalorian is done. Like his character arc's done. And he never had much of a personality to begin with. And I don't even think that a movie is a good setting for him. You know, he was at his best And this is why season 1 of The Mandalorian did as well as it did. Doing episodic adventures, relatively small, low-level, self-contained stuff. But they finally got their hands on something that was successful and that pleased the fans. And so they tried to ramp it up and expand it and create this big overarching story that just wasn't supported by the structure of the show. And they're just going to take that to the nth degree with a movie. They're going to try and make it big and epic, and there's going to be like massive confrontations, probably with Thrawn or someone else. And it's just too much. It's not going to work. So yeah, that's my extremely long-winded answer to say no. I'm not that excited about it.
Let me ask you something. If you were to go and like, let's say they called you up, what would you do to fix it? What would you do to write the story? Like, hey, here's freaking 20 million. We want you to do this story, Mando movie 4, basically.
I would say no, thank you. I mean, like off the
you
top
wouldn't
of my
take it
head,
somewhere cool, like where would you want it to go?
It would have to be to get him back to being a bounty hunter, to take on some bounty that seems initially pretty easy on the surface, and it leads him to like a bigger like organized crime ring or something that he has to take down. That's like a threat to like some local people. Like maybe make it to some kind of like Seven Samurai type thing. I think there's plenty of Western influences, or the Western genre particularly, that you could draw on with this kind of thing. So I would keep it low level, make him be a bounty hunter again, make him be a badass again, minimize Grogu. I'd probably write him out of it.
You kill Grogu. That's what you do. That's how you fix it.
You kill Grogu.
Absolutely,
because he is
kill that little bitch.
They're never gonna kill him.
Because he's so stupid. What they have done to him is so retarded. Because he's overpowered as hell, but only when they happen to need him to be. He knows how to do this when he happens to know how to need to do this.
Yeah.
He understands everybody when he needs to understand. He's a 50-year-old baby who. It's dumb. It's stupid. Kill him. Get him out.
Kill the goblin.
I would want kill him. I would want the tone to be serious. I would want this to be a serious adventure. And Grogu just precludes the possibility of that because he's just there to do dumb, goofy, cutesy stuff. And it just ruins it.
What's funny from my POV, like having any thought about what kind of place we would take it, I didn't even entertain Grogu being in it. I was like, no, that's not happening. I was going to say, like, it would be cool maybe to enter a world where Mando is now relatively well-known and celebrated, and then he takes on a project that he's overconfident with, and not only like fails it miserably, maybe loses a bit of his tech, gets seriously wounded, but also a lot of people die because he doesn't uphold his end of the exchange sort of thing. And the movie's just about him being humbled a bit, understanding that he's gone way too. His fucking life has been insane. He went from being like a nobody bounty hunter to one of the most known and interesting characters in the world, collecting items from all the most famous people in the world. And just now that like he got over in his head and he, bring him down a bit, have him go through something that's real difficult instead of fake difficult, like where he's crouching and loads of people are shooting at him, just all bouncing off, and then someone comes in and says, "I got you, buddy," and then they work together. That sort of stuff. Like I'm bored at this point. Yeah. But like, remember he got captured at the end of Mando season 3 and it meant nothing because they didn't strip him of his armor. They just left him to keep all of it. And then Grogu saved him in a robo suit.
I hated that, dude. That was literally like when what was it, Iron Man, or no, Hulk was in the Hulk. Was it the Hulkbuster suit? No, not
Hulkbuster suit.
Yeah. I'm like, can we just have him like you did in the trailers with actual Hulk? Like, this is so stupid. Why are you literally putting down his powers to put him in some mechanical machine when Grogu could have probably like? And here's the other thing is that Yoda said for 800 years have I trained Jedi when he was 900. So that means
he was a Jedi master at 100 in old continuity.
Yeah, so then I'm thinking like, is Grogu about to go through some like Pokemon evolution like into Charmander or something, and within like the next few years, or like what's the deal? Because like there's no way he becomes a Jedi master in 50 years from now. Well, 45 years from now.
They've written themselves into a corner with this character because his entire appeal is predicated on him being cute. Like he can't speak, he just makes these little baby noises and he does goofy things. The moment you try and move him on, which they desperately need to do, you're right about that. They would have to like take him to the next like evolutionary step,
make him
so
a
he's
teenager.
able to start to. They won't do that though, because then he would immediately lose his appeal. He wouldn't be cute anymore, and he would just be another like Yoda character, Yoda light, and they can't do anything with him, so they're stuck with him. This is why I would just get rid of him. I would like either have him go off on another adventure or stick him in a fucking food blender or something. Just get rid of him out of the
They
story.
had the chance. They
think-
separate at the end of season 2, and you have Mando doing his shit for X amount of time, and then there's that time where he's in need of someone's help, and it's like, you need a Jedi, and it's like, well, let's go back and see Grogu, and he's fucking grown up. It was a different idea at that point, because you're like, starting the show off with the baby is a choice, but you know, like the Wolf and Cub stories sort of stuff. Like you usually have a kid that can develop, have an arc, bring a spark to the person. It's like, it's not like it's impossible with a baby, but like they've run it dry. There's nothing else they can do with Grogu and Mando together.
They did it way too fast. They went through this entire story arc way too fast. They rushed through it. The first season of Mandalorian should have been him doing different bounties and accomplishing different missions, the underbelly of the world here, out in some desert planet here, all around the galaxy, all to get more Beskar and to assemble parts of his armor. That's what the whole thing should have been. And throughout that, you're getting those glimpses, you're getting those flashbacks of him as a kid, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe by the end of Mando season 1, then you introduce this new element. It's like, what does he do? Season 2 could be about them and him trying to decide what to do, rather than rushing through it like they did. But then whatever happens at the end, when you do hold the Mando season 2 and the whole journey is about getting him back to the Jedi and getting him back to Luke Skywalker, you can't then erase that in one dog shit episode of Book of Boba Fett 7 months later. You know what I mean? That is why, to me, when you go back, if you do a rewatch of Mando season 2, it literally means nothing. It's just jangling keys, a bunch of cameos. Mando happens to run into every important person who's still living in the galaxy in a couple-week time period. And the journey that they go on, Mando's like giving up Grogu after getting attached to him, it means nothing.
Yeah.
So to me, if you're going to do a movie, I think you have to get rid of Grogu in some way. I don't know how you do that, but it should just be based on a bounty hunter doing bounty hunter things. And you put him in a position of having to choose between some different moral thing. Hey, I need to take care of these guys, but what about those innocent people? They might get affected. It's pretty simple. You've seen that done a million times, but it needs to get back to
they
that.
Did that. They did that with season 2. It was perfect. The exit. Grogu was with Luke. Okay, he's going to go be with Luke for like the next however long. And then all of a sudden in Boba Fett, oh shit, he gets Ubered back.
That's where you can 100% tell where the studio got involved and just said, 100%. Like, well, we need him back.
Yeah,
like he's literally the only piece of merch that sells now. We need to get him back in the show.
Right, and it's like, dude, what the like, how is that 2 years? Honestly, that was a 2-year gap that he was with Luke.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't.
And Favreau has been completely off the mark with everything in terms of the timeline, which is scary because him and Dave Filoni are the ones constructing this timeline. Dave Filoni gives his typical like mushmouth answer. Well, it really just depends on what you think it is. We don't really have any lines dedicated or drawn in the timeline yet. Right. Yeah. And whereas Favreau has said, well, it's somewhere between 2 years and 0 years, basically, that he was actually with Luke.
It is time. We know that.
Literally.
We got that confirmed.
I know. I was really like season 3 just really shit the bed, and it's like completely regressed the story. Like, I feel like season 3 should have been season 2, and then season 2 should have been season 3. Like, should have swapped places because the way it ended in season 2 was perfect. That was so dope. But you might disagree, but at least there was so much story there.
So, I mean, seeing what's been done with season 3. What does that make you feel for the movie?
That they're probably going to get back on track, and they realize, like, okay, this was shit, and so
I would assume from the time I've spoken to you that you believe the season 3 was rushed, and that the movie will have more prep and purpose.
I think
meaning, right? Yeah,
I think so, and I think that they're going to be like, okay, however many cooks in the kitchen they had with 3, Favreau's like, look, if I'm going to be on this, I want full control. This is bullshit. You took my story and you completely deformed it. So
here's the thing that I heard, Drinky, you said this too about them getting Favreau back. Favreau was already on board with season 4. Like, he had already written all the season 4 scripts before the writer's strike. And it was during the strike that they apparently, from some of the reports coming out, that they decided to be like, hey, let's just go and do a movie. So the idea that Favreau was ever out of the door or anything, it's just, I think a lot of that is just bullshit. From people that are trying to spin a narrative. He was always going to do Mando season 4. Yeah. The question is, what is this movie? and that's something that I don't even know if Lucasfilm understands yet. Is this movie
I don't think they
season
need to.
4, rewritten as a movie? Is the one rumor that's out there that'd be like the worst of the worst is there's a rumor out there that they're going to do 6 episodes of season 4 and then they're going to release the movie as like episodes 7 and 8 culminating event. That would be the worst thing they could possibly
I don't think
do.
There's no way. I think season 4 is going to be essentially now they're literally in the end game. So if you look at it like this, how I see it is they started out here with all of the shows and now it's all converging into one thing. So season 4 is like up here. And they got to really propel this story to the focal point, the point of the whole thing. So they have to do that with Mando. Then they got to do it with Ahsoka season 2, and then they got to do it with
Dave Filoni's movie. Well, Skeleton Crew or whatever.
Oh, fuck Skeleton Crew.
Well, is it
how
all
dare
you?
you?
Is it all going to converge on Thrawn then?
Yes, in Filoni's movie.
What I'm hoping not, because look, if Thrawn is not really that big, I was never that crazy about. He's like, okay, he's smart and really intelligent. But the way they've made him in the show was like,
yeah, not in the show,
like
he is
fucking idiot, and like not imposing at all. Like Spock would shit on this guy easily, and I feel like now that we have the whole Peridia thing with whatchamacallit, Baylan Skoll and Mortis and all that, and the father and this. There is something that could be done there where we have an overarching villain, like someone who's even like at the top, beyond the Force. So that to me is like super interesting. All right, cool, we can get into that. But with Thrawn, and then, what are they going to do on Dathomir? Who are they going to resurrect? They got all these like zombies and shit. Okay, cool, fine. But there's got to be a bigger plot to this. And I think that resides on Peridia with Baylan Skoll. And eventually what I believe will happen there is Shin Hati, Baylan, Ahsoka, and Sabine end up coming together. They form a team. Ezra sends a whale, and they hop in the whale's mouth. They go back to the galaxy that we're at.
Oh, okay. Dude, you're killing me with this.
This is what
the thing is, I think
they're
you're probably
do.
right as well. But
yeah, I think this is what. There's no other way. How are they going to get out of there? And then he's going to talk to the whales, be like, and then send them there, and then they're going to hop in the mouth. Probably Ahsoka and Anakin will have a scene together because now she's open to it. And then they'll meet up. All this time we've been looking at Thrawn and what he's up to. They probably won't even show Luke for a bit, and then in the end, Luke could show up. Hopefully, get something with him, and then that'll be the end of the show. And then we have the Mando movie, which will probably come out after, I imagine, season 2. What do you think?
No. The Mando movie is going to be the first thing to come out.
Really?
Like, the Mando movie is going to come out before Ahsoka season 2, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
And then I think you're going to get Ahsoka season 2, and then you're going to get Dave Filoni's movie. Now, I think there is room for another season of Mandalorian or something in there too at some point if they wanted to. But
there's got to be something else. Like screw Skeleton Crew, it's irrelevant pretty much. But there's got to be one more thing than just Mando movie and Ahsoka season 2. Boba Fett. Season 2?
Maybe.
Just make him not a bitch. Make him dope. Make him freaking cool. You could be like, I don't want to rule with respect anymore. I don't even want to rule. He hops in his freaking Slave 1. No, we're not calling it the Fire Spray. It's a Slave 1. He hops in there, and he just jumps to freaking hyperspace, says, Fennec, you handle the planet, whatever, and he goes and does his own thing. And then he probably goes...
I don't like talking anymore.
Yeah, no, Ryan, he probably meets up with Omega. Okay?
Oh, shut up, dude. That is the thing. And again, like... There's probably some people, obviously a lot of people here probably know, but for these guys, they probably don't even know who Omega is because about 10,000 people watch The Bad Batch.
Spam 1 if you know who Omega is.
Spam 0 if you think she's a
Me
zero.
drink like yeah, man.
Spam 2 if you don't know who she is.
Omega is a female clone who seems to be force sensitive that appears in the Bad Batch series.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows.
Well,
Everybody knows
that's the
Omega.
thing. Like, I think you can guarantee, like, if you were to do a season 2 of Book of Boba Fett, if there is a female in the galaxy you can pair him up with, they will do it. They have to.
Right.
It's the rules now.
Right.
Part of my issue though with a lot of this speculation, and it's probably how they're designing stories at Lucasfilm. Why is it always character and place, and then character another place, and then place, and then character meets other character? Barely ever talking about what we're going to put characters through, or what characters will learn, or where they'll go. It's always like, as it will go as people, not where they'll go as literal locations. Like if someone sold me as like Ahsoka season 2, we're gonna see Thrawn's gonna end up on Coruscant as it stands right now, and we're going to see Luke is going to get involved with the planet that Ahsoka's still. I was like, you still haven't told me on anything. You've just told me where people are going.
What are the characters doing? Yeah,
Right.
and I think for my biggest fear, listen, the Ahsoka series was already like the culmination of a bunch of things that I just hate. I hate Dave Filoni's storytelling. I hate the character of Ahsoka. I hate it when they take things from the old expanded universe that they threw in the dumpster and repurpose and bastardize it and do a poorer version of it. I hate all of it. It was like the combination of things that I hate the most. So I already was probably not going to like it. For Ahsoka season 2, if they're doing Mortis, and there's been a lot of people speculating about Abeloth, and a lot of people that have
They're not.
And a lot of people haven't even read the books, right? That are pretending like, oh, Abeloth would be so cool. You don't have any fucking idea what you're talking about. You just read a Wikipedia article. But if they were to do that, and then like Ahsoka's leading all of this, then it's just one more thing that they've taken away from Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker's entire journey in Fate of the Jedi, learning about Abeloth and finding out how to defeat her and going through this with his son, Ben Skywalker. It's just one more thing they'll rip from the legacy of Luke Skywalker and hand to a woman. So it is what it is.
You
that woman, of course,
misogynist bastard.
I mean,
how dare you?
Because Theory, you'll probably know more about this than I, but I do get the impression that Dave Filoni desperately wants to make Ahsoka like the center of everything, narrative-wise. He seems to have her just tied into every major event. She's been killed and reborn, Messiah-like.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I don't know if this character is interesting enough to support it.
No. Someone who's just watched a whole season derived around her.
She's like the only connection we have to, honestly, the only connection we have to George Lucas, like in terms of the original characters, because he created her with Dave in the Clone Wars. So it's like this character is kind of at this point.
Well, what's that worth, considering what the sequels did with George's characters?
Oh God, nothing. He hated them. He hated those sequels. Like I know people who literally know him and have like family dinners with him and shit. And they're
that tells you he's very normal.
He hates them. He talks about how he wanted to do episode 7 so that Disney would have to go into his script and continue on 8 and 9. But he didn't. He's like, and he regrets it. This is what I hear. So
I think that for me, when you look at the character of Ahsoka, even though I was not a fan of her in Clone Wars or whatever, it was very clear, and Filoni has even talked about this, the difference in opinion he and George had. Filoni, I was always in the Ahsoka lives camp. It's no secret that George was in the Ahsoka dies camp, right? He's been pretty upfront about that, and I think there's a reason that George wanted her to die. He didn't want her to live through all this stuff.
Yeah.
He wanted Ahsoka, and I don't agree with the path, but I understand. He wanted Ahsoka to be show another reason why Anakin Skywalker was inherently distrustful of the Jedi and the way that they ran things, because of the way she exited the Order, because of her separation, because he felt like betrayed by them. So you can understand that building up to the reasons why Anakin would be afraid or worried about what the Jedi are and what they mean. So it'd be more easy to manipulate. With that being said, when you decide to keep her alive through that, when you decide to make her so important to everything, when you make her when you have her role in Revenge of the Sith, like on Mandalore, what we got in Clone Wars season 7, I think that all of that is just too much. It's way too much. She's more important than she was ever meant to be, and Filoni will never ever kill her off. He's never ever gonna erase her. He's just gonna keep on giving her more and more shit. And
imagine she died at the end of season 2 of Ahsoka. We'd all be like, "What? Wow."
What are you doing, Dave?
I would throw a party. Are you kidding me?
It's not about being happy or sad. It's about being confused as to what Dave is up to. If he killed her,
died in the first one, but it's like dying is irrelevant at this point. Like
she's died 3 times.
Well, lightsabers clearly don't kill people anymore, so we can count them out.
Ahsoka Tano has died 3 times. She died once in the Mortis arc in Clone Wars. She died in Star Wars Rebels and was saved through time travel in the World Between Worlds by Ezra Bridger. And then she died again in the Ahsoka series. So I wouldn't be surprised if she died, but she's going to come back to life.
But that's the sticky situation. I don't get it. So that she was saved now by the daughter, which is the embodiment of the light, and the daughter died, but the daughter follows her around as an owl. And so she, like a god, I guess.
You gotta admit that's funny out of context.
I mean, yeah.
The daughter died to save her, and she follows her around as an owl.
Yeah,
me and
yeah,
Drake are
gross.
very like disconnected from some of these plot points. Okay,
Yeah. There's some
We're
of it I don't
simple
really
men.
understand. I'm like, how? Like, but then does that mean she just can't die at all, ever? Or like, was everything in her head where she saw Anakin in the World Between Worlds? Was she actually there? Was she I don't know.
They
don't know.
that World Between Worlds scene between her and Anakin, all that. I said it when it happened. I said I think it's meant specifically to be completely ambiguous, so they don't have to commit one way or the other, and literally let the audience make up their own mind, which is,
Well, doesn't the kid hear
frustrating.
lightsabers
Yeah,
dueling? So it kind
Through
of
the
implies that
Force.
it is
but
happening
then
to some
his mom
extent.
also hears it as well. So
Yeah,
I mean,
yes, his mom, who is not force sensitive, but that doesn't matter anymore.
then
It's
the
also
son,
able to hear it.
for a second there, I thought they were almost implying if you looked over the edge, you'd see Anakin and Ahsoka fighting. Like, wait, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
Yeah.
they're in the water. But no, that whole sequence just seemed to be predicated on the idea of, wouldn't it be cool if Anakin came back and we could get Hayden Christensen back to replay his greatest hits?
Yep.
That honestly, narratively, that's all it seems to be, because it adds nothing to Ahsoka's character development apart from like her deciding that she wants to be alive instead of dead. It's not exactly deep stuff.
No,
And
I think it added a ton in the sense where he made her kind of decide that she's being too much gloomy. She's being way too gray, and she got to like wake up a little bit. Be like, oh yeah, I want to live. And she realizes that she
I
can live
mean,
now. There was no one else to do it other than him. No.
I personally think that
any-
for
well-
that lesson to be taught 25 years after the fact is little retarded, but
Hey,
that's just me.
sometimes you fall from grace and you gotta get a little wake up call, I guess.
See,
you know?
I would buy into that idea if we'd seen more of the conflict with her throughout the show, but we got nothing. She was just a plank of wood. Like
Yeah,
there was no
the show
sense of like
itself-
an inner darkness, or her struggling between the light and the dark, or anything like that, or having lost her way. There was nothing.
Did you watch?
You know,
Rebels?
if that,
Rebels?
well, I'd have to take your word for it since I haven't seen them.
Okay.
I'm just
But,
going
like,
on the
surely it
movies,
should be
the
the job of
shows.
the season to set that up. If that's going to be
Fair
the major payoff of episode 5, episodes 1 through 4 should give us the context.
Because
Fair
the
enough.
Ahsoka that I see in this, and as far as I understand, in Rebels and Clone Wars and stuff, she was a much more interesting character. Here, there's nothing. If you just ask me to describe her personality based on what I see in this show, I got nothing for you. And so when you want to deliver a big emotional payoff like that, a confrontation between her and Anakin about life and death, and her like finding the strength to be reborn, that's a great idea. But you've got to give me some setup for it, because I got nothing from
Well, it's
this
also
show.
a topic we haven't really gone over yet, Theory, because I think you probably rate that as the best episode of Ahsoka, right? This season?
No, episode 6 was the best
Oh, okay. Well,
for me.
the episode, that is 5, right? Where she talks to
5 is
Anakin
the
and stuff.
Anakin one.
5
yeah.
is the Anakin. 6 was because of Balin and Shin. I thought that was really one of the most marvelous episodes. I was just like that scene where he's standing with her and there's that music and he was like starting to talk about the past and everything. Oh my gosh, like I was just like,
Oh,
dude,
when I was
sold.
watching that with my my friends, we were desperate for that scene to continue, and it just cuts
Yeah.
off.
And it just cuts
Yeah.
off. And I'm like,
I
okay,
missed
cool.
the idea.
7 and 8 will explain it. No, we don't even get anything with him in 7 or 8.
I think a
The
lot of
problem
that
for
just
me
came
with-
down to Ray Stevenson being a really good actor who delivered fairly like generic lines extremely well.
He's
Like
the
Just
he
best.
said
has a way of
mysterious things
holding-
with presence.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well,
much, yeah. And I
we
can
do
only
all the
imagine what was
work.
going through his head was like, oh my god, I've really got to sell this because I got nothing in the
And all of our
script.
heads are just firing off about what he could be referring to, and what it all means, and where this could all go. But then you watch the scene for what it is. There's barely anything, and that's just like,
And then
ugh.
nothing comes after. And so that's why I'm really hoping that I almost feel like these shows are really like a what is the word? Epilogue? Epilogue before, prologue is before.
Prologue is before.
Prologue is
Yeah.
before. So these are all like a prologue. So season 2 is going to be hopefully more entertaining.
Chapter 1.
and
See,
or season 2 going to be more
Chapter
entertaining.
1, Part 1.1.
Yeah.
It was an
Literally.
interesting statement that you made earlier when you talked about them learning their lesson and having
Yep.
put more development time and thought into, say, the Mandalorian movie
Yep.
as opposed to their TV shows and so on.
Right.
And I think to myself, I'd love if that were true, but my worry is that they've had almost 10 years to learn their lesson, and they haven't, based on what they've actually made so far. And I just wonder, like, is now the time when they're going to turn everything around, or can they even? Do they have that creative ability?
They can. It's so easy, man. It's just freaking a little bit of PR. That's all they got to do. You just get Kathleen Kennedy, honestly, and she can read a freaking teleprompter and be like, "Hi, everyone. We know that the fandom is quite divided. We love every single one of you all the same. We know we've made some mistakes that you haven't appreciated all in unison, and we'd love to bring you all together. So our next project is going to be blah, 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 whatever." Fucking Ray.
There's so many reasons why
Reva.
they wouldn't have her say that, but chief
she'll
among them
never
might
say
be like, they would be like, you can't say love all of them. There's racists in there. You can't say that.
Yeah, it's
They'd
true.
be
The
like-
Star Wars fandom is not for everyone.
And then,
According to
there's-
Obi-Wan, according to
Well, I think as well, and it's a good, what you're describing there is a good way of, I don't know, trying to improve your perception of the studio. But the problem with the brand now is that you've essentially killed off or really ruined all of your legacy characters that the Star Wars brand was built on.
Yep.
Luke's been trashed. Han Solo's dead.
Yep.
Leia was a non-entity in the sequels, and Carrie Fisher's gone now. Boba Fett, like a cool character, pretty small, but like, people liked him. He's now
a bitch.
an old, yeah, exactly.
It's funny, by the way, you said Han Solo is dead. It's like, that's a very nice way to put what they did to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
I mean, they did
character and
other
then
things.
killed him. Yeah.
Murdered
My
him,
point being,
yeah.
like, you can't redeem him now. He's gone. Like, that's it.
Lando Calrissian has sex with robots.
Yep.
Yeah, and so I could go on and on.
I mean,
but
I
my
would
point
too
being,
if I was on freaking ship for that long. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. My point being, though, like, when you've done all of that, it's going to be very difficult to then get people to like what you're going to produce going forwards, because
For sure.
you've essentially undermined the foundation of your own building.
But it's not too late. You can always fix it no matter what. If Logan Paul came back from his forest stunt, I mean, Star Wars can come back from it's not that
the example
difficult.
I
I
would
don't
use,
know.
but
I don't
that
know if it's
difficult.
going to come back from a Ray movie.
No, yeah,
It's not. No, but that's the thing. They keep making shit decisions. And that's the issue.
There's a timeline where they can come back, but it's like one of 10,000 million billion timelines where they don't.
And I think
We're
Yeah,
not Doctor
literally
Strange.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
it's one.
But it doesn't
And I think-
happen.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
as
I
well,
know.
the more shit things you make, the more difficult that path to redemption becomes. And I'm just
Yep.
my worry is, like, they are making more and more shit stuff, and I don't see that path getting any easier.
You know what's
And-
funny is if you go back and you watch any of the first 6 films, you will get a completely different tone to what Star Wars is. It's amazing. It's like you're right back there. Like, I don't think of any of the Disney shit or anything like that when I watch the first 6 films, because the tonality is just so different, completely by a mile.
yeah.
It's not even
Yeah.
the same galaxy. So
Well, I think
it's
it's
we
easy to
have
separate.
those still. So it's like you just have to go back to that, and then from there create a new timeline where you just go on tangent with what that was created, or what that created. Whereas now we're like, in Back to the Future 2, and he's like, we've somehow shifted and broken the timeline. It's like we're now in this weird, funky timeline where we could, I'm holding a Lego piece, where we could go in some other, like, we could go back to it, and they could create maybe, make a really cool Palpatine movie, honestly. Like a dope-ass Palpatine movie, and talk about Legends, don't talk about the sequels, talk about Plagueis, talk about the Sith that came before Plagueis. There's so much source material to choose from, man. I mean, like Old Republic, you could literally create the coolest new 9 films if you wanted to with the Old Republic.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Reality is, if there is this one thing that they could do to fix it, at least the best thing they could possibly do, it's go on a 5-year hiatus, period. Like, bottom line.
Where they've done
Reset.
that basically with movies.
Well, I mean,
Already.
from any content they're putting out. That's the
Okay.
first thing you do. The second thing you
We'll
do
spend the
is
5 years planning, right?
yes, do your timelines, all this stuff. People need a break from it. They need a break from this stuff coming out. And then what you do is you say everything that happened since the Disney takeover, null and void. I don't care if you like Andor. I don't care if you like Mando. I don't care if you like everything they've done. Null and void. Start from scratch from 2012.
It would
we
be
won't
nice
get
to think that, like, again, like Mauler said with the Kathleen Kennedy apology thing, it's never ever going to
No,
happen.
it'll never
Certainly
happen.
it's not going to happen.
never
But
happen.
that's the only way you can actually heal all the bad things that have happened. Again, I
Well,
don't care
and
if you like
but
Rebels.
there's-
I don't care whatever. Like, you got to erase
Political
it all.
this-
shit.
I
They
think
gotta
even-
stop with it.
Even then, like, you're going to get like some of those people who are somehow fans of the Disney era of Star
They're gonna
Wars
get
who
upset.
are going to be absolutely infuriated by that. And so again, you've divided the fan base, and like that's what I mean. It feels like essentially an unwinnable scenario right now, and I don't know what your play would be.
We talked about this before. Like, if you're going to not change anything or not, you don't have this mythical erase where I can delete everything that's happened. There's two options. You go way in the future and you go way in the past.
Exactly.
I would
Yeah.
love, I've been advocating since they took over that they should do Old Republic. They should do Jedi Mandalorian Wars.
Yep.
They should do stuff like that. There's so much storytelling available, but they have already in Disney canon, like, one, shortened that timeline up a lot and screwed with it a lot, which they shouldn't have. So they've already destroyed a lot of opportunities there. But you go 500 years in the future, you don't say the word Skywalker, you don't say the word Rey, you don't say the word Palpatine, and you just tell stories in this universe.
Yep.
I think as well,
What you
though,
can't do is pull on nostalgia, so they're too scared to do that.
I mean, yeah, and I think the other aspect that's always going to hold them back is the culture that now exists at Lucasfilm. And I hate to say it, but like it's gonna permeate every project that they produce going forwards. Whether it's set 1,000 years in the past or 1,000 years in the future, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same people working on it, and they're going to infuse it with the same garbage that's crippled Star Wars up until this point.
Yeah, it's the same
I
woke
would,
bullshit that they're constantly shoving down our throats. And it's just time we need to focus on proper storytelling and not about who's telling the story or what their gender is. I think that's really the first thing that we need to focus on, and having a concrete timeline of where do these stories go. I mean, I really am so surprised with how the sequel trilogy turned out, with it, how it was so disjointed. Like, how do you have one guy writing 7 and then the other guy's already writing 8 before 7 finishes, and they're not collaborating with each other whatsoever? At least
Well,
from
the
what I've
ending of
heard.
7 changed by request of what the guy wanted for
By
8.
fucking
You know,
request.
it's weird.
Right. So 7 at the end was supposed to, for those who don't know, was supposed to have Luke Skywalker meditating like with massive boulders floating around. And then Ryan goes in there, hey, do you do me a solid, bro? Can you make sure R2's not in the ship? And can you also make sure that Luke
Luke's
can't
just
use the
standing
Force?
there. Yeah.
He's
That
just
fucking
standing there.
decision, man, to have Rey be the one to meet Luke out of everyone they have on option there.
Yeah.
So forced. Like, no way it would fucking be
Should've been
Rey.
Han Solo.
It would be Chewie and R2 before it would be what the fuck?
No,
Why would it
Han
ever
Solo
be
shouldn't
Rey?
have died. You should have just been like, all right, kid, I'm gonna go see, whatever. So and then he goes and he flies in. He's like, let me smooth it over before you go up there, Ray. And then he goes in, talks to him, and that's it.
Or like, what about a
Or
situation where
even if fucking Han Solo was dead, okay, Leia would have gone along then to do this.
No, she's busy doing general things.
Or
She's-
how about we don't have Luke run off like a little bitch and hide and cut himself
What?
off from the Force?
That's crazy.
But there are things that you could use, like, even if you're sticking with that stupid idea, there are things you could utilize, like have somebody go to get him, but he's too late to save Han, and he comes back like and just misses. He's just late to save Han, and Han ends up dying. And then you do see Luke having to deal with like the guilt and seeing what he did, the bad decision he made. And then you do give him a lot of internal conflict, even though he's this, incredible, powerful Jedi master. That's something interesting you could do with the character, but
Remember, they cut
worse.
his reaction to Han's death.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Excellently
Deleted scene.
acted,
What-
and they
what an
chopped it out.
Yep. Just
Yeah.
cut to a different scene because clearly we
Yeah.
need more slow motion space chase.
I remember people at the time being like, not only do we already know he's going to be sad, so we don't need to see it, it's actually an expert editing cut because they reference Han is dead and we cut to Kylo who killed him. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why? How is that him being sad is superfluous information, but us getting told visually that Kylo killed Han isn't? It's like, yeah, I saw
Cool.
the previous movie.
I cannot imagine how frustrating it must have been to be Mark Hamill watching that movie and just seeing every single aspect of your character get removed.
Yep. That's how
You
we
know,
felt.
I know it's been covered ad
Yeah.
nauseum, so I won't go into all of it again. But yeah, it's just it's kind of sickening when you think about it. And man, I can't think of a better hatchet job that anyone could have done on Luke Skywalker's character.
I suppose
than
a
Ryan
sad
managed.
element as well of us talking about potential futures is like this isn't the only thing that Disney is annihilating. Like we've got this blueprint that they are almost following with Marvel. The theory, I think you're like less familiar with it, but like all of the characters in Marvel have been systematically fucking annihilated, and
I've
that the
noticed
future
this.
does not look bright for Marvel. It looks even worse as like time goes on. And if they're not fixing that, is like, so they're gonna fix Star Wars? Like probably not.
They're stupid. I don't know why they veered away from the Avengers. That was like the biggest money making machine that they had, and it was entertaining as I loved it. I loved watching the Avengers, and that's what I hope they do with Star Wars. Is not like any Avengers thing, but with Thanos. Okay, you're focusing on what was the guy's name? Ragul or
Who?
Ra's al Ghul,
no, that's
Batman
DC, no.
Begins. Oh.
No, the dude with the purple.
Oh, Ronan?
Ronan. Yeah, you had Ronan, and he's like the big bad or whatever. But even him, like, okay, this guy's going to get eliminated, or you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe he's going to win. You have an even bigger on top, which is Thanos.
Yeah.
And he's just chilling, which was like kind of Snoke, right? I was like, all right, cool. So we got this guy, we got Kylo Ren, and we got Snoke just chilling, kind of like the Emperor, who survived and like is here, superseded the Emperor. Fucking nothing happened with him. He just got diced in 2 seconds. And then turned into like a vat of clones, just like
The Snoke clones provided endless entertainment for all of us. Like,
and they're
know
all
what would
force
be-
sensitive. Like what? Like what? I don't know.
You know, it'd be like a sad thing to do, but kind of funny. Would be looking at all the theories at the time, being like, "That was Snoke's trick. He wants Kylo to think he's dead, but he's not." It
Dude,
was a
that's what
test.
I made that theory.
Yeah, it's like all that brain power done to
Yeah.
at the time make it better. Like,
Dude, I
it's-
was coping so hard at the time. I'm like, guys, you don't understand. Like, it's just poetry. It rhymes. It's like Luke did the same thing on Crate. Snoke did the same thing in the throne room. He's off somewhere on a planet, like plotting his next move or some shit for the next movie. He's still around. Maybe him and Luke are gonna fight in the Netherworld or something.
so did you
No.
go into Rise of Skywalker with still expectations and hopes that it was going to redeem the series? Did you think they can still pull it back, or had you given up by that point?
No, I was excited. I was like, okay, Palpatine's back. Okay, cool.
Oh,
Obviously,
okay.
so they're going to have Luke fight him because Luke's not dead. He's probably so powerful that he can go in and out of the Force and in and out of the Netherworld. And he's going to learn from Yoda, Obi-Wan, Anakin. This is going to be amazing. He's going to come back like at the last moment. He's going to fight the Emperor. Emperor's going to be full power. I thought it was going to be sick. No, it was
Who
something.
needs Luke Skywalker when you are all the Jedi? I mean,
Well,
come
that
on.
was
Got 'em
the
all,
thing. And
yeah.
at the time, I really liked it because of how they redeemed Luke, but redeemed him from destroying him. And then I started thinking about it. And especially when I saw Gary say, he's like, when the rose-colored glasses come off, you're going to realize. And I was like, and then time started to pass. And I'm like, wait a second. Why am I happy with a shitty situation for it being
less shitty than
less
super
shitty, but it's
Yeah.
still super
Yeah.
shitty? That's like being in a horrible relationship. And it's like, okay, well, today is maybe a bit of a better day. It's like, no, it's
At
still
least
shit.
At least I didn't get hit today.
At least I didn't get yelled
yeah.
at or screamed at. It's like, or told to die. It's like, well, okay, how about no? Let's just maybe reassess everything and be like, how about we find a movie that's supposed to actually evolve Luke Skywalker's character from where he was in 6, which was beautifully done from the shitty farm boy who didn't know anything and had hopes and dreams into turning into this dope character in Return of the Jedi. But no, we regressed. And then Han Solo as well regressed. He was a hero, turns into
Deadbeat dad.
like a deadbeat dad.
Literally the
loser.
same dude. That's the biggest like sin of Force Awakens for me upon a lot is that they regressed Han Solo and reverted him back to the same exact
It made him even
dude.
worse.
Worse.
Yeah, basically that Luke walked into the
Older
casino
and
found.
less capable than he was before.
Yeah, and he's still like doing the same things, getting in trouble with like the same group of people, and abandon his family.
What's crazy
Um,
to me
And
is
you
I think-
obviously have to have that moment of Rey showing him how to like manipulate his own spaceship that he's been flying since before she was born.
Yeah.
Like,
This-
bypass the compressor. Like,
it feels like everyone's got
really?
different lines for what like took them from sort of the good faith, like they've got this, to the because I think I remember in TFA when I saw Han like that, I was like, there's a point to this. Like they're trying to talk about like how there are elements of him that have come back into frame because of difficulties he's had, and that we're moving him somewhere and we're doing something with it. But then, you know, like you really focus, really read into it, and you're like, man, they made him such a retard. Like the fact that he owes everyone money, he's got everything out all over the place. He's super incompetent. He's trying to steal. He lost the Falcon, hasn't gotten it back in however long. He's getting showed up by some random mechanic. It's just like, what's going on? This isn't Han Solo at all. And then because it was funny when I was talking about like what they did to Luke being almost unprecedented. I think it might have been Gary or someone else at the time, like years back on stream. He was like, "No, this is not unprecedented. They did it to Han first." Then I was like, "Oh shit, yeah!" Like he's definitely like earlier as a sort of clue what was going to happen in terms of how they were writing this.
And I think Obi-Wan, I've talked about this a lot. There's like a couple different lines of demarcation where some people have like fallen out with Star Wars. And, you know, for people, for me, the first time I developed that kind of like bitterness was in 2014 when they said, hey, Legends is now, or EU is now Legends. We're wiping the slate clean. That was disappointing for me. It was upsetting, whatever. So I decided to go into Force Awakens and give it a shot, even though I was, you know, not very happy at the time. That was a disaster for me. So that was kind of like my hopping off part. Last Jedi was another one for a lot of people where you saw a big group of people say, I can't do this anymore. Obi-Wan Kenobi. That show was another big one, like this big line where a lot of people, they were still hopeful for something. They saw what they did and they're like, nah, I can't have that mindset anymore after what I've seen them do to more characters I care about.
Yeah, I think because up until that point, he'd been one of the last untouched characters, like legacy characters, where you could say, you know, they've ruined Han, they've ruined Luke, all the rest, but like Obi-Wan Kenobi's fine. Like they haven't messed with him. And then this show came along, and then you realize they've got their claws into everyone now, and they're not going to stop. There's no character that they won't humiliate and destroy, and it's never going to end until they've just gone through the entire catalog of Star Wars characters.
I think something I noticed with Kenobi as well was how like this is the similar sort of character assassination-y stuff, but also just why is everything now looking so shit and like cheap and rushed together? Because at least the sequels, they have that veneer of lots of money was fucking pumped into this. Kenobi looks awkward a lot of the time, and
looks
I
horrible.
think it was bad direction. I think, and did it not have a much smaller budget than
Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's budget was probably around 100 million or something, right?
90,
which is crazy numbers, but like compared to like a lot of the other Star Wars shows, it's actually a lot less, isn't it?
Andor was what? 250?
Andor was like 2 or 250. But again, you have to look at one cost per episode and how they're shooting them. The reason they love that volume so much is because they can keep the cost down for shows like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Andor was filmed on location. They built the whole set in the UK. Yeah. But Andor's basically $20 million an episode, I think, when you break it down, right? Jeez. And Obi-Wan Kenobi is about $15 million per episode. So per episode,
whereas it looks like about 2 million was spent per episode on it. Like it looks, like Mauler said, it looks cheap.
Up to you completely, but I just feel like that newest super chat deserves a spotlight. I just think it's funny to read.
Where?
What is it?
Hold on, I have it on full screen.
Certainly, me and Ryan will be interested in it.
Well.
If you don't get rid of Mauler and Ryan, me and a handful of others will unsubscribe.
Well, Ryan, let's get going.
We'll free.
Start our own
podcast. Let's get out of here.
Feel free.
It's funny. Listen, I can
wait,
only be here.
Actually, didn't mention me.
Wait, no, you know what? No, I'll see you guys. Yeah, no, fuck this. Hey, all right, welcome to the show, everyone. I hope you guys please subscribe. No, you know what?
I'm the new co-host now.
Fuck it. If you want to unsubscribe, go ahead, man. Be my guest. I ain't bending to anybody. This is my show. This is my channel. These are my friends. And if you got a problem with it, don't watch. Simple as that. If you can't handle 2 or 4, I can't count. 4 dudes talking about stuff in Star Wars, then you're very intolerant of anything that doesn't coincide or echo your own beliefs and views. And I don't live with that. I don't stand with that. You got to have different opinions, and each one of us have different opinions, but we're coming together and we're hanging out. So
yeah, I think
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, almost all 4 of us, I think, I would have different pathways and stories to tell if we had control and everything. So, you know. Yep.
Are you gonna take a little
I'll take a little drink. I might as well.
All right.
What is that? A dildo or a gun?
It's a Derringer.
Okay.
You know, it can be used however you want, I suppose.
It's my next lightsaber. It's my next lightsaber, eh? Speaking of which, new saber dropping on Theory Sabers. Plug if you guys want to go check it out. It's dropping in the next few days, starting at 175. So taking a big hit on the cost, but definitely want to give you guys more affordable stuff. It's gonna be pretty dope.
Theory, like, because I feel like we've been awfully negative
Cheers.
in this stream, and I don't want to be like that. Now, there has been some good stuff that's come out.
does really.
over the past
It's
few
been
years.
bothering me too, Drinker. I know.
I know, can't handle this. I want to inject a little bit of positivity into it. Like most of us here, I think, enjoyed Andor. We appreciated that as a pretty well written Star Wars show.
Most of you
Is
guys
that
know.
a direction that the Star Wars universe can head down?
Yeah.
Something that's a bit more grounded, a bit more serious, a bit more thoughtful, and contemplative,
and a little
think
more
so.
disconnected from the grand scale of the galactic, shit like
So that's
that.
ironic considering where it's leading.
Well, it's
Yes.
just
Yeah. But
I
like,
think-
it doesn't have to have the Force. It doesn't have to have Jedi. It doesn't have to have lightsabers in it necessarily. It could be about
No.
regular people doing really heroic things that
sure.
might
I
not
am-
be huge in the initially, but it adds up to a massive
Drinker, I'm
change.
willing
Yeah,
to toss in
absolutely.
some lightsabers, some Vader, and some Tarkin if it means the show will be get some more eyes on it.
Well, those things do get more eyes, and people are like, "You just want lightsabers in the Force." I'm like, "Well, that's Star Wars." I mean,
I'm not
we-
against it. I just I want to make sure we get back on track for the substantive stuff in Star Wars. It's not like lightsabers are what made me feel so much in the Luke Vader throne room scene. You know what I mean? It's like,
No.
but I like that they're there and I know what they're for and I understand they're part of the universe. And so
They're
Andor,
cool.
if Andor goes from being like it gets like ×5 the viewership, if Vader
Yeah.
has 3 scenes in the whole season, it's like sure,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, no, that'd be sick. I mean, you don't have to have lightsabers and everything, but it definitely makes it more flashy, more cool. But also, it becomes redundant too. So at the same time, you got to kind of pick and choose. However, the thing with Andor was that it was the production value was the best of any Star Wars show we've had. I think on par with Mando season 2, probably, maybe even better. I think if we get Tony Gilroy, like we've said many times, Tony Gilroy, Sam Witwer, Dave Filoni, and Jon Favreau together.
Maybe take Dave and put him in a corner.
I knew you were gonna
and
say
just,
that.
let the adults do the
I
talking.
knew that was coming. I knew that shit was coming. Like, all right, here, Dave, go play with the Ahsoka doll over there.
Yeah.
I think that they should absolutely focus on more, a little bit like disconnected storytelling as well. I think in general right now,
Yeah.
people are very tired of shared universes.
Yeah.
Whether it comes to like
Yeah.
DC, Marvel, like all these people that are building these different things. So I think look at the Underworld show that George Lucas, initially had plans for. They
Yeah.
even kind of repurposed some of those scripts for things.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be very much a, little entries that were disconnected. They're all taking place, in the underworld or whatever of Coruscant, but it wasn't necessarily supposed to connect in any major ways. It was just interesting stories. And I think that would be a cool thing to go down. I've said it before. I think Andor is probably the most, I think it's the best thing they've done. I do not like Cassian Andor as a character. Like just in general, I don't really care about him or his motivation. So it's tough for me to like watch that show and be invested in it. But I would be totally down for more entries like Andor in the Star Wars galaxy because it's the most competent thing they've done. And I don't even think it's really close.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with your point there about I would like to see some disconnected stuff where it's just like standalone adventures in different parts of the galaxies. It doesn't have to be tied into like the Jedi and Luke Skywalker and everything, because all of that betrays a lack of confidence in your storytelling. None of this stuff can stand on its own merits. It has to reference recognizable characters and like stuff that people can latch onto, because without that, it's not interesting enough. No, how about you just make better stuff that is actually interesting, that does have compelling characters. It's set within the Star Wars universe, but it doesn't have to hang on desperately to all these little life rafts to try and keep it afloat. That would be definitely the way you can move forward, because it's a massively complex galaxy that and it's gone through enormous upheavals in the span of a few decades. You've seen the rise and fall of the Empire, all the chaos that comes from that. Then you've seen the rise of the First Order. You can do lots of things within that framework that could be excellent, that could be really fascinating stories, showing it from different perspectives. but they've just never done it.
Would you be interested to know what happened with Mando season 3? Because I have a subscriber that wants to hop on right now that spoke with Jon Favreau at a coffee shop, and he says he has some really interesting information about what exactly happened that John told him. So I think
It's your show, man.
yeah, I think we
Sure.
should bring him on because I haven't heard the story. I've been waiting to do it live, but finally I feel like this is a good time, so I'm gonna send him the link, and then he can tell us, and we can continue on with everything. Because
Did you find a thumb drive in the Lucasfilm parking lot?
no, he ran into him at a coffee shop or something like that, and he like literally asked him, he's like, "Why did it feel so different?" And he didn't tell me the whole story yet because he wanted to come on. And I'm like, "All right, we'll bring you on one day, man." But
His name's not Mike Zero, is it?
could be no, but I'm curious to know what happened with that because I really don't think that was all John's idea. So.
You know, do you have, because you were kind of talking about your reaction to Rise of Skywalker, and I kind of remember your first reaction where it seemed like you were fairly like positive about it.
I was happy.
You were like happy about it.
Yeah.
Do you think, because you obviously do a lot of these like watch party and like react with the chat and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that doing those live reactions while you're sitting there in front of like so many people that are like hyped about stuff, do you think that ever affects your feeling about something in the immediate aftermath? No. Like for me, I've noticed that I can feel very differently about movies if I'm in a packed theater where a lot of people are hyped about something versus if I watch it by myself. Like my interpretation of that can be a little bit different. Sometimes get carried away. So I never do watch parties or anything like that. So that's why I was wondering if you ever felt
I would
that
say
way.
in the past where I wasn't totally fucking delusional with where Star Wars was going, and I thought it was still in very much like cahoots with George Lucas, and I wasn't trying to create theories that would almost fix their poor writing, to say in a nice way. I'd say now look at Bricks and Screws situation. I'm so much more candid now with everything. I don't think it impacts too much. I think with Rise of Skywalker, I came out of that and I was so happy that Luke was, in a sense, redeemed. Like, he grabbed the lightsaber, he raised the X-Wing. Shit we wanted him to do. Well, shit he never should have even had to do because he was literally castrated in The Last Jedi. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel like it impacts me at all. I'm pretty candid. I'm like, oh, if I don't like it, I don't like it. Cancel me. I can cancel it anyways, so whatever.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say, like, I was just wondering because I'm not somebody that does those watch along streams or whatever.
You should. I think a lot of I would watch it if you did it.
Yeah,
I think it is, and I respect you for doing it because it is difficult to give a good, insightful like analysis of a film when it's off the cuff and you're just experiencing it for the first time. Because for me, generally, I need a bit of time to go off and think about what worked and what didn't, rather than try to react to it as I go.
I agree, and definitely when I marinate on it for like maybe a couple weeks, I'm definitely able to have a better consensus about how I felt over the film. However, I think people are pretty understanding of that. So when I do like an initial immediate reaction, it's like, okay, cool. And then I'll come back to it and do a full review within a couple weeks. And usually it's pretty much the same review. It's just maybe not as perhaps emotional or a little more well thought out in a sense.
Yeah. Like the movie that affected me more than anything else like that was 100% Endgame. Like driving back from the theater of Endgame and the experience of watching Endgame, the culmination of a decade of storytelling and so many people, and watch it like opening day, like crowd going wild. Like, even though I was like finding problems with and had issues with some of the time travel or some of the character arcs, it was still such a massively emotional experience for me.
Yeah.
And then on the 20-minute drive, I started thinking about everything, and I'm like, man, well, I mean, that was cool, but this was fucking stupid.
It's always the drive home where it starts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you got your buddies with you, like, because then you start talking about it, like, oh, this thing didn't make sense, that didn't make sense. And usually it peters out after 5 minutes, but man, sometimes it keeps going, and you've watched a fucking stinker.
Dude, once they started doing the time travel, they're just like, no, fuck this.
Yeah.
Big super chat from I Love Jet Trooper. We're gonna read your super chats later. I think, Drinker, you're only here for how much longer? Or are you chilling?
I've got a couple hours, so
okay, cool. You're chilling.
Yeah. I've only got 15 minutes on my bones. Sorry.
And Mauler's like, I've only got -8 minutes. I should have gone 8 minutes ago.
How I go.
Yeah, so Von Rum's going to tell us real quick about what went down with Jon Favreau. And, yeah, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
What's up, Von Rum?
Howdy.
Mike Zero? Are you fucking serious? No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, no, it was very fucking brief. He wasn't like sitting down or anything. Friends were out, me and my friends were drinking, and I needed to sober up because I was the designated driver and shit. So I went down to a coffee shop.
Hold on. I just want to stop your
you didn't
story.
Tell me this.
Me and my friends were out drinking, and I needed to sober up because I was the DD. That's what you said, right? Just clarifying.
Yeah, I'm the.
Yeah.
I mean, I sympathize with this situation. So
I respect the game. I just want to make sure we all understood.
Yeah.
Was it really Jon Favreau, or is it?
Yeah, no.
You're Jon Favreau.
Just looked
guys,
like
it's Jon Favreau. Guys, it's Jon Favreau.
It might have been a
like,
homeless
yeah, he was dressed
man.
like Abraham Lincoln, but what can you do? You know, it's just the way he rolls.
It's like some hobo on the street. It's Jon Favreau.
Yeah. No, it was. He was. So I was waiting for my order, and I looked over, and I recognized him, but I'm like, I don't fucking talk to him. I'm like, oh, I gotta ask him about fucking Star Wars because of all the shit that's going on. But I'm like, he's not gonna say a lot. Like he there's no way. So I walked up to him and I was like, okay. I was like, I had a question, like, so what was the reason why Grogu was taken away from Luke again just so suddenly? Was like, you gonna use him in the Rey movie or what? And he kind of just like smirked at me. He's like, I can't say anything about that. Like. But he's making this look at me like, yeah, I obviously think it's going to happen. So I asked him, I was like, what happened? Like, I'm not saying this, I told him not in a negative way, but what was the reason for the changes between season 2 and 3? I noticed it was obviously about Din Djarin, and it became more about Bo and how they kind of just separated away from that. And he said, well, in the first 2 seasons, he's like, we had a little bit more creative control. There were a few company changes that I guess that really had an effect on our overall creative control in the story. And when he told me that, I was thinking to myself, like, well, at that time, I know Kathleen Kennedy and her like DEI story group were focused on something called Children of Blood and Bone. And usually, you guys remember when Favreau and there was like this weird rumor going around that Favreau and Kathleen Kennedy had a problem with each other, or there was some kind of tension there behind the scenes. I think it was because they might have started messing with his story that he originally had for season 3, which makes sense because season 3 was very Kathleen Kennedy-esque.
Weird.
I feel like the way from my understanding at Lucasfilm is that doesn't matter what kind of who you are, you write a story, you write a script, everything has to go through a DEI check. Like it's literally like a filter that they have. And from my understanding, that the reason why things keep happening the way they do is because they have that DEI stuff in place. I mean, obviously, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We all kind of know that they have stuff like that, but everything has to go through it. So when he told me that those changes happened, and it was around the time that Bob Chapek was gone and Bob Iger came back in, it made perfect sense as to why maybe Bob Iger put Kathleen Kennedy back on Star Wars duty instead of Children of Blood and Bone. I think that's what it's called. So he says, obviously I can't say much, but we see all the criticisms and stuff. We see everything. We care. We're just doing with what we can. So I honestly feel like there's people that actually do work for Lucasfilm that really see all this stuff, but obviously they're kind of probably shamed for even trying to say anything or do anything.
Of course. No, I know for a fact that I know from friends of mine that are very close with a lot of these guys. There's a full like team. There's like a room of people that look over all of the social media stuff of every one of us, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, or whatever. They're scanning everything. It's probably some of them watching this stream. So they want to see what people are saying. They want to see what's going on. They want to see what the consensus is of everybody, and who to blacklist, who not to, who to allow in, and basically get reports. They're all about data.
Right.
All about data reports. So yeah.
I think it's. I remember. Go ahead.
Just so what Favreau told you is basically that, well, there's been some changes at the company lately, and I can't really go into anything, but that might be why. So we hear you guys, and we hear your complaints. That's what he said.
Essentially, yeah. And then he also because I asked him, I told him like we feel like a lot of us, it's like it's not, we get labeled as all of these isms and ists, and he's
you tell him, you told him
we're not. Yeah, I told him straight up. He's like, a lot of us don't fall in line with those words, those names that people like to call us just because we criticize one or two or three characters or how it's written. I really hope, I told him like, I really hope that this stuff doesn't really this negative stuff that happens on social media, or if there's anybody on the inside that kind of supports the opposite side of the fandom that kind of pushes, which Theory, it happens. That
we think we all here know pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't want. I told him like I don't want people at Lucasfilm thinking that we're some kind of fucking crazy ass fucking hateful people. We just want the Star Wars that we all knew, that we all grew up with, that we carried for years. Like we talked about the other day on Theory Talks. It's like, there are. Star Wars is for everybody, but there's no way in hell that you're not going to tell me that there's certain people that care about it more than others. It's the truth, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Well, for sure, yeah. I mean, absolutely, but that's kind of like the issue in today's world is you have like newcomers, these young whippersnappers, so to speak, come in and they're kind of like,
yeah,
I know it better than you. It's like, what are you talking about?
You just got here.
You just got here. We've been here for decades,
right?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
But I don't know. It is.
I don't know.
It is.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if there wasn't those, because they have to operate in that bubble, right? Like, let's say you're the most creative person in the world. They have to operate within those parameters of what they expect their scripts and their shows to look like. So no matter how well you put something, obviously it's going to be watered down or changed. Like I know for a fact, I know for a fact that the reason why we never had Luke actually train Rey is probably because somewhere along the lines it became problematic that a man was teaching a woman what to do. Like that's how I feel like these people think. A lot of these people think, and we can't get a cohesive story without it somehow offending somebody, and it's fucking annoying.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where it's. I don't know about that, but I just don't. I think the writing was shit, and I didn't think they probably knew Star Wars very well. But yeah, anyways, hey man, thanks for popping on for a sec and telling us about that interaction. Yeah, you having a good day?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, I just got home.
Okay. Cool. Okay, well, maybe I'll catch you on Theory Talks tonight, man.
All right, sounds good, dude.
All right, bro. Catch you later.
Hey, man.
Thanks. Later.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yeah, if I'm looking at the state of Mandalorian season 2 and Book of Boba Fett and Mando season 3, if I was to be as charitable as possible to everybody involved, I think one thing that you can look at what happened is the behind the scenes drama with Pedro Pascal, where it sounded like he was ready to quit, and that's why they kind of rushed out Book of Boba Fett. And that might be why they brought Grogu back so quick. Things like this, just in case their lead star did in fact just say, I'm up and out, so they could replace him. They could replace Mando with Bo-Katan. They could replace him with Boba Fett. They could have all these other characters. Like if I'm being as generous as possible and like trying to be like, I understand why you might have made some of these decisions, even though they're fucking really stupid. That's one thing that I can look at and like have some understanding for as to why maybe some things went down that way. That to me makes a lot of sense compared to like some of the other speculation out there. Because that shit did happen. Like the Pedro Pascal getting very upset and like nearly quitting the show did happen.
Well, I assumed it like halted production on season 3 of Mando, and that's why it's so disjointed and fucked up. The proto episodes of that season are in a different season of TV, being the reclamation of a new ship and the reestablishing him and Grogu. Like that is obviously something that should have been in his own show, not in Boba Fett's show.
Oh shit! Commander Shepard says I met Dave Filoni at a restroom. Invite me. I can imagine what you were doing with Dave Filoni in a moment.
What were you doing with him in the restroom?
Right.
Was he still wearing his cowboy hat? I hope so.
He was like, "Call me George. Call me George."
Oh Jesus!
Dave Filoni for you.
Oh no.
I've only got a little bit left, but I did have one question, Theory. I know you made a video about the rumored What If Star Wars series.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people that are like, oh, we don't need that or whatever. The truth is, like,
It'd be dope.
we had what if Star Wars comics and stories for,
Yep.
you know, from decades ago.
Yeah,
Star Wars Infinities, you had, you know, what if Luke hadn't destroyed the Death Star? What would A New Hope look like? Like, those stories were told and they were very interesting and intriguing. And I don't have any problem with telling those stories as long as you're delineating clearly to everybody that they're not in continuity. And I think those things could be cool. Well, now with the people that are in charge of stories at Lucasfilm, I don't have any faith in them, but the principle of it, I think, could be cool.
No, Mauler and I were discussing this earlier. Like, you know, what if Anakin had defeated Obi-Wan on Mustafar or something like that? Like, okay, great. Like, this is interesting stuff. Like, what they'll probably do is, like, what if Rey was even more awesome than she was in the movies? Like, that's the level of thinking that's going to be involved in stuff like this.
What if Padme was a Jedi? What if Padme was force sensitive?
Yes. What if every female character had the Force? Oh wait, we already have that.
What if Rose Tico was the bestest Jedi ever instead of Rey? Like,
well, what if Leia destroyed the Death Star instead of Luke?
I hope that they take maybe some inspiration from the fan fictions that I've done, because it's honestly what I've done is what a lot of the fans want to see, including myself. So it's like, what if Qui-Gon didn't die, dude? Fuck, it'd be so cool.
The fundamental problem I think that they have now is, and it's probably the same for everyone, is I just almost cringe with fear whenever they announce a new project, because it's not like I just don't think there's anything they could announce that would get me excited and think like, oh, brilliant, this is gold. This is going to be an awesome film or an awesome TV show or whatever. It's more a case of, oh God, what are they going to fucking ruin next?
This reminds me of when people are like, it's Doctor Doom will save the MCU, or Galactus, bring him in and we can make this happen, make this happen, make this. And the same thing that'll happen to them is what happened to Thrawn. Years of people wanting Thrawn to come in to live action. We finally get him and he's a retard. It's like, God damn it.
Your fundamental problem is not the characters that you have at your disposal or the ones that you've chosen to use thus far. Your problem is the people who are working with them now. The showrunners, the writers. Those are the people that you're going to have to change out, and I don't think they will. I don't think they've got it in them to make such a massive change of corporate culture.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, Ahsoka kind of is a what if series. What if Ahsoka was the most important character in Star Wars? What if Sabine, in addition to being like a technological genius and a Mandalorian, what if she could also use the Force?
Well, in the same vein,
we're not even getting those what ifs. Those are. It is happening.
If you said to them, like, it'd be really cool to do a what if of, like, what if Obi-Wan got involved in some kind of mission between the prequel year and the OT year, and they'd be like, we did do that, and you're like, no, you didn't. I don't know what the hell you did, but like, we, do it properly.
It would be nice, it'd be nice if we get back on track here, but and I feel like it sucks because, like, I feel like with season 1 and 2 of Mando, man, that was a huge hype time for Star Wars. Everyone was happy. And then it just kind of changed with Boba Fett.
I love that noise you made there, Mo.
I made the head noise. I made the head noise, and he made the noise.
In chat, my community will be really upset with me if they're like, "You just sat there when they said that season 1 and 2 was awesome."
Well, no, you said the other day you said the R word, and like, how dare you allow him to say something like this? That just tells me everything I need to know about you. And I'm like, what?
It's our word.
About? Like,
we're reclaiming it.
As over at EFAT, we outright got in serious trouble for being hypercritical of season 1 and 2. But that,
well, whatever. I mean, we could talk about it all day. But I liked season 1. I liked season 2. Sure, it could have been better, but no, I think it was great.
What I will say is this: if they had announced a Mandalorian and Grogu movie right after season 2, I think there would have been a decent amount of hype surrounding it. I think on that first FNT after the Mando season 2 season finale, I said, this all feels like Force Awakens to me, because I didn't like Force Awakens. I didn't like season 2. But then the way people were acting and the hype that people had, the nostalgia, it felt like it was all going to come crumbling down at some point. I feel like we've kind of seen that a little bit with now the way people feel about it. So the reality is this announcement, I think it's very... it had the effect on the news cycle that they were hoping for, because now every article's about this. But I don't know if it generated a ton of excitement from people the way they were probably hoping, or the way it would have 2 years ago.
No, definitely not.
Ryan,
Not after season 3. Season 3 shat the bed.
Was Luke in character in the season 2 finale of Mando?
Are you asking me this question?
I'm asking you that question.
Here's my problem. I feel like Luke Skywalker, but I can get over the bad, like, you know, CGI dead eyes face. All right?
Oh yeah, of course.
For me, I believe Luke Skywalker, you know, the first thing it would have said is like some acknowledgement of like everyone else there in terms of, are you okay? Like, what's happening here? Why is there an Imperial Moth? What is this entire thing? Like, what's the Empire doing here? Getting to the bottom of some of these things instead of just like, I'm here for the baby and fucking like walking away. Like, to me, that was not like what Luke Skywalker would have done. So I was
I took it as
a lot of it was like, we have to keep his dialogue to an absolute minimum because
it's expensive.
Exactly.
I kind of took it as like, okay, he just kind of has everything under control. Like when he walked into Jabba's palace, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care who this guy is. It doesn't matter. He's already defeated the Emperor. If he says it's going to be a big problem, he's going to take care of it. But for right now, his sole focus is to train the child. And that's like all he cares about because that's where the future of the Jedi are. And without that, you know, he's not going to spend his time trying to like just walk up and stab Moff Gideon.
But do you feel like that takes? But do you feel like that takes away a little bit of like the heart and soul of Luke Skywalker, who is like this truly like caring individual who cares about people's well-being? Like to me, Luke Skywalker would 100% make sure that they were okay and like ask them like questions and stuff.
For sure.
So that's why that whole thing is
I think
very strange to me.
He's also uniquely poised to be like, wait, this guy, like, is this what's going on with the Empire? Because like he would have big reason among a lot of characters to be like, will not let the Empire rise again. So what the fuck is this? What are these, like, what was the army of robots? Where'd that come from? How'd they make that shit?
I do love this notion that he shows up and fucking kills everyone and then goes, so what's actually happening here?
It's like, well, you just killed our army of babysitters. They were supposed to protect this child.
The real threat's coming through. It's like, no, yeah, I don't know. I kind of took it as like maybe he can. I mean, the thing with Anakin was that he could literally see into the Force. Like he could see situations as to why things are happening. So maybe Luke was having the same sort of. The thing with me, dude, is like I literally will fill in the gaps in my head. Because I feel like I know the character so well.
I feel like
that's part of the problem, I think, because the explanations you give are way more intelligent than anything the actual writers of the shows would give.
They've been coasting on that from the whole fandom. They're like everybody filling.
They're like, how are we going to explain this? Star Wars Theory will figure it out for us.
Because like what you got with things like Luke coming back at season 2 finale is very much in line with Anakin coming back in Ahsoka. It's not as egregious as that, but it's the same mentality behind it of this is a character that everyone loves, that's really recognizable. Yeah. Let's bring him back for this finale because it gives it a real impactful moment. Like, how does he get there? How does he know what's going on? Just don't worry too much about that. Like, people get so swept up in the emotion of the moment that it won't really matter.
Yeah. And I know. And it worked. Especially after Last Jedi. You know, it was amazing to see that.
Yeah, and I think that played into it a great deal. Yeah,
the best of Star Wars doesn't require theories to like understand and enjoy it. We don't have like, you know, the throne room scene is not explained by theories. It's explained by watching the scene and being enamored with the history that came before it. And it's like we're so far away from anything close to that it's like outright sad that I'm not saying it's sad to do it. It's sad that we all have to do it. Like we all have to be like, well, maybe this, maybe this. Maybe when they said the incredibly stupid thing, they meant this thing that's less stupid.
Well, that's, you know, welcome to my channel is kind of just like, you know, I don't want to say fixing Star Wars, but kind of like filling in, theory, Star Wars theory. It's the theory of fucking like disjointed plot points that don't really make sense and me trying to cope, I guess, essentially.
There you go. Yeah. It's like, you know, what if Vader had never actually told Luke that he's his father? So we'd be like, well, what if that little look he gave there? I mean, that could have mean maybe it means Vader's actually his father. Like, you don't need that to enjoy Empire Strikes Back.
No, you don't. But you know, but I'm sure at the time there were probably many different theories. It's like, who's the Emperor? Like, what does he do? But you know, obviously there wasn't YouTube at the time. But I mean, now it's like, okay, as we progress in this story. You know, back then it was like the Emperor was just like one episode kind of thing. You just saw him in Empire, and that was it. But then you have like episode 1 through 6. Then you bring in Snoke. So obviously this guy is now going to be extremely questioned because of who came before him. So you're going to have all these different theories and stuff like that, and it's going to like just basically, it could even mislead the fan base in a crazy sense because people will like certain theories more than the actual product and more than the actual answer. And in the case of Snoke, I mean, freaking the stupidest one I saw was Snoke is Mace Windu.
That was
That
the
one makes
stupidest
even that one makes even more sense than him dying. Like,
My favorite one, I think it was a troll, but my favorite one was that Snoke is the old lady from the archives in Clone Wars.
Jocasta
knew, yeah.
Yeah,
I did hear that
because-
one because of his robe kind of
Yeah,
looked
the
like
robe
hers.
matched.
he did, yeah.
My favorite one by far is that because of the scar on his face, that Snoke was the stormtrooper that bumped his head in A New Hope when they're in the Death Star. That's my favorite Snoke
That'd be
theory.
amazing
That
if it
was
was true.
That one's good.
Yeah.
Also, could be Soars Bandim, the kid that died at Anakin's hand.
Like, to be fair, any of these theories would have been better than what we got. So
We got nothing.
which is he's nothing.
Nothing. He was a test tube baby.
So I think at
That
this
was-
point, it's like to be a fan of it and to try to pull goodness out of what they've produced in the past 10 years. It's like just sifting through the rubble of a bombed out building, hoping that
Yeah.
you're going to find like
It is. It really.
don't
That's
know,
what
so-
it feels like. Yeah, that's what it feels.
Not
like.
even hoping you're going to find someone alive, just hoping you find their body.
yeah, maybe
pretty
a
much what it
body
is.
part,
So,
maybe
there's an
or
arm.
something.
Oh, a finger.
Can we have
Yeah.
identifying? Do we find their teeth? Can we match this to dental records?
Like, oh, that's Larry's tattoo there on his arm. I recognize that.
Oh, we found a wallet. Nice. Like,
No
Where's the
money
body?
in
Yeah,
but
and you know, it's competence. It just comes down to who you're hiring, and you know, I really fear for this new Rey movie. I think it's going to be abysmal, to be honest. I think it's going to be horrible. I think there's going to be a whole bunch of pandering and agenda pushing and all this crap in there. That's just like, just focus on the goddamn story for once.
I think you're very well justified in saying that. I don't
for
think
sure.
there's many people out there suggesting that this will be a success.
No, I mean, there's a bunch, you know, that are, but I wouldn't.
It would be hilarious if, like, if it happened. Like, they took a Rey movie made by a feminist activist documentary maker, and it turned out to be the best fucking
Like,
Star
amazing.
Wars movie since Empire.
I would hope so.
Somehow.
I would hope so. I honestly, I don't pray for Star Wars' downfall. I hope it's going to be absolutely amazing because I want cool stories. But fuck, I don't see that happening, man. The choreographer that they hired, I heard, has never even done choreography. I think she was a stunt.
it's tough to call yourself a choreographer then.
No, she's a sword master or something. She's a stunt. She's a stunt actor or something, but she has never actually choreographed actors or something.
Well, you
like that,
see,
from
Ryan,
what I
you
heard.
can't be a bad
I'm
choreographer
wrong.
if you've never done choreography.
That's true. That is
That's
true.
right. Got 100%
You know, small-
track record.
Baby steps. You know what I'll say, and then I got to bounce is that regardless, even if there's no identity politics involved, even if there's none of that stuff, even if it doesn't like appear at all in the Rey movie,
Mhm.
the bottom line is that this is going to be a story about Rey, someone who's now usurped the name Skywalker, Rey Palpatine, who's usurped the name of Skywalker, doing what Luke Skywalker should have done.
Yeah, dude.
Rebuilding the new Jedi Order. So, quite frankly, if that is your approach, if that's your starting point, it could be the most woke-free movie, period. And I don't know if people are going to be very receptive to it.
Oh, it pisses me off so
Oh.
much, dude.
Make her a depressed hobo that everyone hates because they find out she's a Palpatine and the Palpatine destroyed the world and everyone hates her. And she has to earn a reputation through actually doing interesting and difficult things. If you have to make a fucking Rey movie. How about we don't, though?
Yeah. You again, as we've said with so many of these other good ideas, they would never ever do that to Rey. She is Saint Rey of
Yeah.
Saint
Dude,
Rey of
if they-
Skywalker.
I swear to God, if they team Rey and Ahsoka up to take down, like,
And
you
Grogu.
know,
the
fucking hell.
patriarchy.
And Grogu.
So
Take down
tired.
men. Yeah.
And Grogu, like, still can't speak. So she doesn't have to listen to a man. He just still has that robot that goes, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
To just affirm Rey at every point.
Or
whenever
like,
she's
well,
not
maybe if
confident
like
enough.
Grogu had grown up a little bit and become like a dude bro, like Ken from the Barbie movie, like he's
I'm just
Trying to be
Grogu.
trying to be like hyper masculine.
Oh, God. Yeah.
There you go.
No, we
But
need
with
more
that
of
being said, guys, I got to bounce. I got some stuff going on today. But thanks for having me on. Good chat
Definitely
about
thank
Star
you for coming
Wars.
on. I'll see you at MegaCon, man.
There you go. We'll see you in Orlando. I'll see the guy right up here as well.
Yeah, we'll
I
see
shall
the
be
three of
there
us.
also. Looking forward to hanging with you guys.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it's going to be a blast.
IRL.
Talk to you guys later.
Later.
Alrighty.
Peace.
Boy.
Bye-bye.
And then there were 3.
Yes.
So, how many more are we going to lose?
Welcome to Open Bar.
Hey, let's just hijack it. Yeah.
Wait, you guys
Bar
have
is
your own
taking
show?
over.
Yeah, every Thursday.
Oh, it's just you two. That's Open Bar.
Well, we have guests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, cool.
We're
Come on
the
that
two main
sometime
hosts,
if you
and then
want.
have
We talk mainly about how
Anytime.
media's going great.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, we
sounds
did.
like a
We think we
Shill fest.
Because probably the next Star Wars thing that comes out will be the Acolyte, I would imagine. So,
Why do we have no dates? What's the deal?
Maybe because they don't have any dates, you know? They're like,
I mean,
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure it bodes really well for the quality of the product, but when it does come out, it would be great to have you on, like get your perspective on it.
Anytime you want me on,
Be good
let me
fun.
know. Yeah, let me know.
Thanks, man.
Are you in Orlando?
Right now,
Or is this private information?
no.
What?
I think he's thinking, can you not tell from his accent that he's not in Orlando? But
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's
could
plenty of
still
people
have
from
this,
overseas that
man.
live in fucking...
No, this will shock you, but I am in Scotland right now. But I am going to fly to Orlando for MegaCon, so I will be there.
Oh, so you're friends with Jacksepticeye.
he doesn't know who that is.
Well,
You
I
don't know
know
the
who that
most
is.
famous man in... Oh shit, is he
He's
Irish?
Irish.
Oh, fuck me.
All right, last
That's
orders.
it. let's just end the stream right there.
Oh, fuck. Okay, cool. Nice. Sick. All right, well, let's just start reading some super chats, shall we?
Sure.
Mauler, why aren't you coming to Orlando?
I'll do it eventually at some point. I don't do meetups yet, but I'm probably gonna. I'm very tempted by all the stories and the videos and stuff.
Yeah, they're fun. Should be good. Have you been to MegaCon before,
No.
Drinker?
No, this is my first MegaCon. Apparently, it's
Me
quite
too.
big though, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, never been. Anybody here going to MegaCon? You can spam M. Oh fuck!
Ooh.
Now I'm being called racist. There we go. Oh,
Racist to the Irish.
misogynist and
Scottish.
racist in the same week. Cool, sweet. The long-awaited meeting has come at last. The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was sober. Now I am.
Woo!
Andor Season 2 is officially set to resume filming. Rewatch Rogue One. I think we'll be getting more Saw and delving into Galen Erso. Do you guys like Saw? I don't know.
Guerrera,
No.
he's fine. There's not much to say on him yet. I way prefer I wait for a lot of the characters in Andor Season 1 actually to him, but maybe they can make him really interesting by the time we if we get another season with him, you know.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, you do have Forrest Whitaker playing him, who's a fucking exceptional actor, so hopefully we get
Yes.
something out of him.
For sure. Wish at least one guest would defend Star Wars.
Hey, Star
Well,
Wars
the-
Theory defended Star Wars.
I think
Kind
we
of.
all want good Star. I don't think any of us hates
Well, we
the first 6 films.
Drinker made us do an Andor section. That's defending Star Wars.
Mhm.
So there
Yeah,
you
I
go.
tried to lighten the mood there.
He did.
You
I want that on record as well. I tried to
Yeah, because
protect
I
the balance of
don't
this
I don't
stream.
typically subscribe to the idea that like if we spent it's like 10 hours in a row being negative, I wouldn't be like, oh, now we need positive. We're like, no, fuck it. If they're gonna keep putting out shit, the responses will keep being shitty in terms of negative.
Exactly.
responses.
It's like, oh, you're just negative about Star Wars now. It's like, no, I'm just candid about the Star Wars that's being put out. You don't see me being negative about the first 6 films.
Well, yeah, and
There's
nobody
a difference.
when we did Andor coverage on EFAP, it's not like anyone said like you need to bring on someone who hates Andor. Nobody said that. I was like, yeah, because you don't have to. You don't have to have every single perspective.
Yeah.
But anyway, still, I think all three of us are interested in the perspective of why would you adore the sequels.
Yep.
But I mean, as time goes on, those perspectives are getting lesser and lesser available, and there's not much substance to them other than like, oh, I really loved, the cinematography.
Music,
Like,
the score. Since Phantom Menace turns 25 old this year, do you think they'll re-release in theaters? Oh, that'd be cool. Love to see that. Haven't seen it in theaters since I was a wee lad.
Yeah, in a while.
wait, really? You haven't rewatched Phantom Menace since
In
you were
theaters.
young?
In
theaters, right?
In theaters, yeah. Can you guys discuss your wish list of things you could fix through TV episodes to improve the story experience of the sequels? Example, Luke's Dark Empire story arc and where he behaves out of character.
So what, like use TV shows to retroactively fix the sequel trilogy? Is that what they're asking?
That's quite an effort for something that I would just be like, can't we just decanonize them and make new shit?
Yeah. I mean,
they invent time travel, they go back and they prevent the events of the sequel trilogy from happening.
Luke wakes up from a bad dream. There you go.
That's
Best I would allow if I was in control is alternate timeline, but I'd want decanonization.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could just have Luke have a run-in with Snoke and the Empire or First Order, and they want to clone him, and so he has to run off and cut himself off from the Force so they can't GPS his ass. That's if you're gonna have it tie into the shitty sequels, then yeah, I guess. What else can you do? Tomorrow, Phantom Menace PS1 video game comes out on PS4 and PS5. Have you played the game? No.
I didn't play that one, no.
I don't want to make you guys uncomfy. But I would love a Star Wars movie with a chick in it and her being lame.
Possibly gay as well.
Most definitely gay. You guys should watch Nerdonomous videos on the production of The Force Awakens. It gives a lot of context for JJ's meddling. Channel is the guy who made the video debunking Star Wars, saved in the edit.
He's an excellent channel. He has like fucking 3 or 4 videos and he just disappeared. And they're all amazingly edited and researched. I left a comment on one of them being like, please contact me. I'd like to speak to you about Star Wars, but I haven't got anything from him. He's
who are you like a huge fan of? Like, let's say like you really like the way they make their videos. Break stuff down.
My biggest influences would have been a guy called Retro Ahoy, who does all kinds of breakdown game reviews. His review on Quake is like absolutely amazing. Then Total Biscuit, who is unfortunately died 2018, I think.
Right.
But he was all about like integrity and thoroughness with detailed sort of analyses and warning the consumer when the companies providing you this shit were taking advantage of you. And then, for a funner aspect like Red Letter Media, I'd be inspired by and still enjoy, but more so for their chemistry and their comedy.
Got it.
And then there's a bunch of guys. I didn't want to name these people because it sounds a bit awkward, but that Critical Drinker guy's pretty cool. I like watching his stuff, Yeah.
What is wrong with you, Mauler?
I don't
Why would you
know.
watch my stuff?
I need help, obviously.
Well, apparently I got to get you and Ryan off the show so I don't lose subscribers. But
a handful of subscribers.
Just
and
tell
that's
them.
big.
handful.
Big
That's
deal.
fine.
Tell them at the end of the
okay.
episode, that's it. I'm getting rid of these toxic people. And at the beginning of the next episode, we have to go, I'm just having them on for a little bit, and then I'm getting rid of them. Ugh.
Yeah. No, I'll talk with who I want. It's if people are going to unsubscribe, that's totally fine. No worries.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll go back down to 100,000. To me, it makes no difference. As long as I'm happy making content I make. It was only a matter of time before all these guys came together. I'm so glad for it. Keep it up. Thanks, bro. All in one show. I don't think Disney could handle this much Star Wars representation.
I'm sure they'd love it.
I'm really excited for the 4 animated projects. Absolute all Star Wars panel. Cheers. That'd be cool if we had a panel, like at a convention.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We're going to be at MegaCon.
Did you buy your tickets yet?
Tickets?
To MegaCon?
No, I think it's kind of taken care of. So.
Oh shit! You got media?
Well, I'm going as like a guest, I suppose. Yeah, basically.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I usually go to these things. I'll have like a table and like I'll have things to sign and meet people.
What
and
the
do a
fuck?
few panel events.
I didn't know this. That's so cool.
No, it's good. Yeah,
That's wild.
Swing by. We'll do stuff together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll be there Saturday, Sunday. So. Good thing we didn't read that one.
I know
Ryan's
what they mean
hot
by that.
stepsister. Personally, I prefer the alternate cut of The Force Awakens. Oh. God. Okay.
I think we have to investigate this one further.
Mandalorian movie will be a Bo-Katan movie? I don't think so. Disney can't kill Grogu. He's the best-selling merchandise they've got. If they kill him, they have nothing. They should make him older. I really think making him older would be really
I don't
cool.
think they want to do that.
I don't. I just can't picture like a teenage Yoda.
I think
can't
they
be like
think
Mutant
they've cracked
Ninja
the
Turtles.
formula where a bunch of our characters get into an unwinnable situation, and then Baby Yoda, as he was known back in the day, pulls out an amazing power that saves the day.
Yeah.
You have choir, you have slow mo, and you zoom into his cute face, and people just like, yeah, you know, it's like a meme. But when we're on streams with some of the more some of the women in the in the spheres we're in, and whenever you bring up Baby Yoda, they all like get giddy. You're like, that's it right there. That's
There
the
must
thing
be some
in
kind
Star
of
Wars.
weird hormones getting fired off in their brains when that happens. But
Well,
yeah, I
unfortunately,
think
there are
the
some
point.
guys who have that reaction too. It's like,
But yeah, I think the bit where I just lost all hope was when he's running around that light fixture and like the guys are trying to like zap him with the
God.
just I wanted it to stop.
And what you'll get is they'll be like, no, hopefully you can make it. Oh my God. And then he does a force thing, and then they go, yay. And you're like, ah.
Yeah, a little bit too silly there.
Give me
for
back
sure.
Anakin killing children. Come on.
Yeah, Anakin shows up. He's like, I missed one. Oops.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, a teenage Grogu would be really cool. Give him a nose ring. You know, whatever. Go all out. It would be like the Ninja Turtles, and they're extremely successful. What are they worth? Billions?
Something like
You
that.
know, I think, yeah, people would love it. Or give him a brother. You know, oh, he has a long-lost brother somewhere. He's old. Mando movie, just John Wick, but Baby Yoda's the dog.
Yeah, kill him.
Sure.
Damn.
Kill
He's
the
on a
fuck out of
vengeance
him.
trip.
Damn, dude. Damn. Mando frozen in carbonite meets Grogu a couple hundred years later. Oh, shit, okay. That's not bad. But then there's
I
still
just like how we're having to solve the problem of them making Baby Yoda too fucking young. Like, move everything around. To
yeah,
make
but
sure we
what's
can get it right.
how late's the Rey movie after Mando? Is that 20 years? No,
More than that, because it's 15 years after
It's
the
45 years.
events of-
Oh, he's going to be 100.
Who
Gonna be
knows how
100 years
long
old.
how old they'll make him be in that sort of. Hey, Theory, did you see the clip of Grace Randolph talking about how to fix like
Oh god.
those sorts of era of movies and who we should bring in? And she says they should bring in
Oh.
Obi-Wan, and then she
Wait,
thinks
what?
she thinks for a few seconds and goes, "Oh no, he's dead."
Wait, no. Hold on. Wait, she said what?
She said that we need to get some like cameos in, you know, we need to get some more people in, more famous people into these next projects, and she suggests Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then she's like, "Oh wait, he's dead."
It is almost physically painful to listen to Grace Randolph talk. Not just for
It's
like
like-
the inane content of what she says, but just how she says it as well.
It's one of the
Like,
most famous moments in all of Star Wars, and she was like, "Oh yeah, he died."
I don't know who that is. I've heard of her a few times. Isn't she like a leaker or something?
She
A
at this
reporter?
point is essentially hated by like the entire internet. Her clips get shared every once in a while of her just saying something that's so fucking
Really?
baffling.
Who is she? I don't even know what she looks like.
Uh,
I think she's like an AI that went rogue,
Oh,
but
let
like
me
not
type
like
this in
a
Google.
super advanced one, like kind of a primitive one. And she just spouts the most ridiculous nonsense.
she said that
She's-
Mario had a cat outfit to satisfy the Asian fairies.
She's blonde. I've never seen her. It's strange.
Oh man, you're missing a treasure trove there.
Yeah, I've never come across her. Is she on
So,
Twitter? I guess.
Did you see the Suicide Squad theory?
Suicide Squad. Nope.
The
The original, like the
No, the James Gunn one.
what's the one with Will Smith?
No, the one
Idris Elba.
with- yeah.
Okay, well, there's a giant starfish monster in it, and he's crushing the populace of an island. And she said when reviewing it that her complaint was it didn't crush enough white people.
That is the correct response.
Too many people of color were crushed, and there should have been more white people getting killed.
Well, it was taking place in a Central American country. It's like,
Man, like I said, we cover every once in a while. We have a laugh riot. She's amazing.
Yeah. Reminds me of someone I knew once. They said white men had a good run. I was like,
Reminds me of the Ricky Gervais joke from his last hosting of the Golden Globes, where he said we were going to do an in memoriam, but it wasn't diverse enough.
They actually said that in the movie. They didn't kill enough white people?
No. She said it in her review of the movie.
Who did?
Grace
Grace
Randolph.
Randolph.
She's white.
Yeah, well, she's saying it because it would be more balanced to have killed more white people in it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, she's one of those. Okay. Fine. Fair enough. Oh,
Hey,
there you go.
That picture looks familiar.
Could you have this alcoholic Scotsman on the show? I thought he's an Irishman. We just discussed that.
Yeah, apparently.
I would never
For you,
have...
I can be.
Sorry. I never would have seen in public with him or take a picture with him. Then make it my profile picture on social media. Maybe one day.
Good shit.
signs.
I find it easier to imagine Anakin in the suit without the cape, since the cape is what makes him look big. But it would be easier for you guys to see Anakin in the suit without the cape. Would make no difference.
Yeah, I'm not really too bothered by that.
Grogu should have been killed by Vader during 66. I think we can all agree the Disney stuff broke canon with OG trilogy.
Yeah,
Yes.
just a little bit.
Forget Grogu. Grogu can escape Reva. What? She actually got stabbed as a
Twice.
kid.
Yeah, I think Obi-Wan was probably the most egregious of all the TV shows for breaking canon. That was just... There's stuff in that I just can't even rationalize in the context of the OT.
Nope. Not at all. How would you suggest watching Star Wars in which order to someone who never really watched it but only knows a few things about it? I personally like 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Release orders, fine with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the movie that starts with 1, or like part 1, part 2.
Wait, what do you
like
mean,
this.
Tricker? It's called Part 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how George wants you to watch it, but he says, you're going to get 2 totally different experiences. I made a video on this a while ago. That with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when you get to the part where Luke is told that Vader is his father, you get a totally different experience than if you were watching 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So
True, yeah.
he was saying, I'm paraphrasing, in 4, 5, 6 first, you are essentially, you're surprised. And then in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're anticipating it. Like you're waiting, like when is he going to tell him? Because you know. So it's a different watching experience.
I think it would be fascinating, though, like if you could wipe your memory somehow and then just watch them in order to get that completely different perspective on the story. Yeah, like what would it change your perception of what it is? I don't know. Interesting to think about, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, chat, which one would you guys prefer? And while you're here, 6,000 of you, make sure you hit the like button and show support.
Yeah.
I agree I'm over Grogu. I remember watching season 3 when he ran and jumped. It looked bad and strange. Bad and cringe. The baby sounds made me roll my eyes. He should be CGI if he's jumping. Disney want to please normies.
Yeah, I think
there was a thing about practical versus CG, right? The clip I always use to criticize it is in Mando season 2. I don't know if you remember it when they put Grogu down in the ship when they're fighting off the spiders, and he's literally on like a motorized wheels, and he wiggles forward really awkwardly.
Oh,
and I was thinking to myself, like,
I remember
you
that.
know what it is? It's like they got the baby doll, and they were like, man, this is so much easier, cheaper, and faster than doing CG right now. Just fucking do it. And some guy was just like, yeah, I'll wind him up and let him go and record it. That's good enough. It's going to be a quick shot. And I think it's just traveled on throughout the seasons. It's just like, look, I remember, one of the last shots of them in season 3 where they're walking through the cantina / whatever building.
Yeah.
There were people, we were laughing at it. And some people were comparing it favorably to Team America. Like, that's fun. It's fun walking like in Team America. And it's like, motherfucker, Team America is supposed to be making fun of shit puppetry. It's like skilled puppetry to look shitty. Why would
I did give it some credit in the sense of I always assumed they were going for the aesthetic of something that was made in the era of the OT. In which case, there would be a lot of just puppetry and practical effects. Like it's like that fake feeling of it being a show that was contemporary with the OT. Because like money was clearly not an issue to them. They can obviously, but like, yeah, it's whether or not it works is debatable. Again, like it kind of looks ridiculous in a lot of cases, but I think that was their intention behind it. I just, I don't know how well it carries over.
I don't know either. Mauler, I watched the Nerdonymous video last week and found it very informative. I also recommend his Star Wars Apocrypha videos, as they have good insight into what happened with the sequels, and you even make a cameo.
Wait, shit, I do? I need to see that again. I didn't remember that. Okay, yeah. Well, it's so funny. I'm practically recommending it to myself now. But yes, check out that video, that channel. Apparently, I'm going to do the same because I haven't seen all of it yet.
That'd be cool. A few weeks ago, the director of Godzilla 1 tweeted he wanted to do a Star Wars movie. What do you fellows think of Dave flying out the director of Godzilla and screening a movie with the whole look? So, yeah, you know, everyone, my opinion on it, boys, I don't know what you think, but everyone wants to direct a Star Wars movie. Everybody and their grandma, you know, why wouldn't you want to put that on your resume? But are you fit to direct a Star Wars movie? Are you fit to write a Star Wars movie? That's what we need to be asking. It's like, you know, of course everyone wants to do it. Yeah.
With the rubble analogy from Drinker, I think the bombed out house, I do kind of get to the point of if several people walk up to this rubble and say, "Give me a few bricks and I can make something." I think most of them might just bomb the bricks again, but some of them might actually build a small house, and I'm like, oh, okay, and then we can give more to that person. In a sense, I guess what I'm saying is I think Star Wars has been so ravaged that I'm almost at the point of saying pass it out to a bunch of people and see if we can find somebody.
Yeah. I would be curious to see what happened at that screening when they saw Godzilla, and it was almost that weird realization of, oh, wait, these are characters.
I don't.
They have
I would
personalities and go on journeys.
I would love
It's
to talk
crazy.
to like a Filoni after he's seen that and ask him what.
Hope everyone enjoys the stream. May the force be with you. Love you all.
I'll clean a bit. Sorry about that. Please continue.
Okay. I was going to say, if Filoni watched something like -1, I would love to talk to him about the main character and how he perceives how that was written and how the arc occurs, and then talk to him about his own characters and be like, why don't you try to maybe replicate it at all with like what you did in Ahsoka, for example? Because I'm sure he thinks he does, but I'd love to understand him better because I just don't see it in his work, even though he can clearly recognize it, I assume, in other better works, because -1, really great blueprint for a character arc.
Got completely zoned out. I'm sorry.
It's okay. The people at home heard me, in theory.
Yes, they did.
I was listening, Mauler.
They need to get rid of that stupid Naboo fighter. Ship 2. I think it's dope. At least the Razor Crest made. You know what pissed me off about the Razor Crest was they did a limited release, and it was like $400 or $500 for the ship. And I ordered one from Hasbro, and then the next week they blew it up.
They blew. Oh, right.
Well, it makes it even more collectible.
Yeah,
now.
more of a collectible.
But
Yeah,
like
I guess
with
so.
this, yeah, I get it. Like if you're a bounty hunter, you might need to transport your bounty back, and like the Naboo fighter's got no space
I'm
inside
willing
it.
to argue the Naboo fighter is an absolutely retarded choice outside of a cool factor. That's the only thing it's got going for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like bringing back Luke, bringing back Anakin, it's like another thing that we recognize. from an
Absolutely, that
era
was
of
the
Star
cynical
Wars.
reason for it. It makes the when you watch the first episode of Mandalorian, you see things and you're like, of course. Oh yeah, he would have that. Ah, that's how that works. Ah, cool. And the exchange of money and the way the carbonite works. You're like, yeah. And then when you get this, you're like, wait, this doesn't fulfill any of the things you need, Mando. And it's like, don't worry, it's got a pod for Grogu. Like, what? We need a little bit more than that, mate.
Let me ask you something. If they hit you up and they said, free range, you can do whatever you want. You create one show, one movie, one game, whatever. What would you do?
One movie.
Okay.
And then I need to know if I'm allowed to decanonize anything. I'm guessing not.
No, you can just do whatever. You can literally do what you want. In terms of
This is the tough part where I could use the movie to retcon, or I could use the movie to stay away from everything they've ruined and just start up my own shit. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. I would be very tempted to set it right after the sequels and basically undo everything the sequels did.
Yeah, you could do that.
That would be very tempting. Or set it right before Force Awakens and release a toxic gas into the entire universe that makes everybody behave weird.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, everyone's super high. They need to get rid of the. Okay, this one. People hating on Filoni is wild. He's not bad. I like Filoni.
I don't.
I mean, I'll probably have to drop out fairly soon, but
Fair enough.
yeah, I think the perception really is like he's a bit of a hack who's totally overrated, and he seems to have just gone into business for himself completely. Like he's got his like stable of characters that he loves, and he's just going to make them the center of everything. and it just screams of narcissism a little bit and being a little bit selfish as a creative.
So what would you have him do then?
Resign.
Fuck.
Or go back to, I don't know, go back to doing animated shows for kids.
Yeah, his animated shows are amazing.
Maybe that's where his strength lies, and like that level of storytelling is like his limit, and leave the more important stuff to serious filmmakers, I suppose.
Yeah, it's kind of goes hand in hand with this super chat here. Theory, seriously, you gotta stop treating Dave like he's George Lucas 2.0 because he isn't. As long as KK is in charge, nothing will change that. So not even the issue's not even KK. It's KK and Disney, Bob, all of them.
Robert
All of
Iger.
them. Wipe them. Ooh. Hail. What's up, man? Hey, Theory, big fan. I agree that Star Wars has always been progressive with showing powerful women, but it does lack women-centered stories. 90% of Star Wars movie show posters centers a white male. Stu proves the point against yours. Yeah, I don't think the problem is the gender. I think the problem is good storytelling. That's
I mean,
all it
I
is.
would say like with since Disney have taken over, like
It's
all
been
three of the
female.
mainline movies have been female centric. Obviously, with Rey, you got Jyn Erso in Rogue One. So that's 4 out of the past 5 movies that they've made have been female centric. You've got
Well,
the
they had
Ahsoka
Han
show.
Skinwalker in the Solo movie, so there's that.
Yeah, and, you know, that was
great.
what it was.
That wasn't the film that made them stop making movies or anything. It's fine.
You know, you had Ahsoka, but then you also had things like Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is hypothetically about him, but it's not really. It's about Reva and Leia. And so even the ones that are meant to be about men aren't really.
not.
And so you could kind of make the argument, like, I feel like they've redressed the balance and a lot more over the past few years.
Why don't we just take this kind of thinking further? Fuck men, fuck women. Let's have a robot main character. Let's have a crazy alien main character.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it. If that's the focus, when really none of that matters compared to nailing a fucking story, which is the big problem they have.
Yep. I know. It's too much about gender. Like, fucking... God. I don't know. It's like nobody understands it. Cancel Disney Plus. Theory, Arnold T is on. Send him a link. No, we're good right now, man. We're chilling. We're vibing. Love Arnold. I hope the fan base doesn't show up for the Rey movie.
They'll get a portion of it, but you know, this ain't gonna end well.
Of course they'll show up because they want to see how bad it is, right? So it doesn't matter in terms of Disney's eyes. They're like, well, they're going to be paying anyways. A movie ticket's a movie ticket. You get the money. So
I feel like myself and Drinker and like a Nerdrotic type audiences, they're not going to go see this until we tell them all that this is worth seeing. Like a part of our channel's like responsibility at this point is trying to save the bit of their fucking wallets from having burning holes in it, and it'll mean a lot if ever we did recommend it. But you know, it's the likelihood is not high, and a lot of people are going to be waiting for our assessments of it. The new meme across a lot of top comments and a lot of reviews nowadays is way more anticipate the reviews than the movies.
Yep.
Which is the entertainment factor in reviews is much higher, much more consistent, much more reliable.
Right.
And much more down to earth.
No, I'm going to see all of them, so I can definitely have a review on it right away. I want to, like, when I'm walking out of the theater, I'm probably going to be like, well...
I mean, I'll see it. I might not necessarily go into a theater to see it, but... You know.
Well, and
I understand.
on that note, if
understand.
myself, you know, Drinker, Theory, and Gary, and everyone else recommended the newest Star Wars film wholeheartedly, there's still a huge portion of audience who be like, I ain't watching it. I ain't fucking interested. Even if you recommend it, I'm not interested. That's how much damage they've done.
Yep. I don't disagree. They announced the movie to take the heat off of SOC's comments. I'm excited for the Mando movie. Yeah, it did seem pretty strategic. I'm excited for the Mando movies and Ahsoka Season 2. Criff, you Filoni and Ahsoka haters. Yeah, Criff, you guys.
I genuinely, I'd love to see an Ahsoka defender. You know, this was quality storytelling.
Oh, for sure she's going to appear. Of course. She's probably going to be in the Rey movie. Drink, Mauler, Ryan. Did you guys watch the Ahsoka jailbait video? The one with Obi-Wan? Okay.
Oh, they're talking about the meme video. That was funny. It's so they use AI and shit to make a voice thing. It's a meme thing. It's not like awful.
People have the right to voice up. KK agenda. Sequels, Rey lead, Rogue One, Jyn Erso lead, Kenobi, Reva, Mando Season 3, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, everyone. KK. Yep.
True.
I know. And it's like plain insight. Star Wars started and made an inclusion of nerds of it and made a fan base. Disney strives for inclusion, but they are trying to do that with something that has had that with tons of outsiders. Sad time. No, they're trying to do that with inclusion of their own political people. Right? They're not trying to do that with everyone.
I swear to God, like the worst thing that ever happened to geek culture is that it went mainstream and it became cool. And I could use that in quotation marks, but like it became trendy to call yourself a geek, and it just let in so many fucking idiots. And
it's the tourism, man. The tourism.
Yeah, and it's like if you come in and your first thought is I need to like alter this hobby or this fan base or whatever to make it more acceptable to me, then you're not a fan. You're just like Mauler says, you're a tourist or you're an activist.
Yeah,
and that's all you've become. And like you get enough of them in a fan base, and they just slowly but surely like hollow it out and destroy it. And this is what's essentially happened to everything, because when you get stuff like this that then becomes designed to be catered to a mainstream audience, everything just gets generic. You know, everything becomes like the most safe corporatized garbage imaginable. You know, it started with The Force Awakens, but then it happened with Star Trek as well. It happened before that even. You know, when J.J. Abrams took over, they turned it into action adventure movies in space with a young cast of characters that just happened to have the Star Trek name, and it bore no relation to the ethos of the show, the previous movies, any of the TV shows, anything like that. It was just wearing it like a skin suit, and it just happened again and again, and it won't stop. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And on that cheerful note, gentlemen, I might have to bid you farewell because I'm kind of out of time this evening.
Well, thanks for sharing your time with us, man. I appreciate it. I hope we chat soon. If not, I'll see you at MegaCon, which is where you live, not in Ireland.
No, I live in Ireland, man. No, but it's been a pleasure to come on tonight. You know, Mauler, you and I have streamed once or twice before, so that's nice.
A few times.
And Theory, it's great to be meet up with you publicly and do this. You know, it's been good fun. So yeah, hopefully I haven't hopefully I haven't ruined your stream too much with all the negativity, but keep doing what you're doing, man. It's great to see you reaching out to like so many different people from different perspectives and so on. So it's really good stuff.
No, I respect all you guys. So yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for your time.
All right, we'll catch you guys later.
All right, later.
See you, dude.
It's cool he has a panel. I didn't know you could do that. Thought it's all like vendors and stuff.
Yeah. See if you can talk to him about it. Maybe find out more about it, because I don't know anything about how this stuff works. But I always figured like if I went to one of these, it would be awesome to do a panel with all of you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be sick. You should come.
Oh, I'm thinking about it.
Just fly out and just wear a mask. Wear a helmet. Filoni isn't bad. Why do y'all hate? It's Disney. Ryan, I was unaware of you before Theory's last show were on. After, to my surprise, my best friend was subbed to you, but he's dumber than a bag of hammers. You bring the energy. He does. Ryan's very emotional. It's great.
Yeah.
He's very pissed off usually. I was half expecting Ahsoka to have an intense romance with Filoni's self-insert character, Trapper Wolf. Mauler, how you doing for time? Coming up.
Yeah, well, I'll try and we'll see how far we get. I'll try and get through the super chats with you.
We have 164. We're at 2:27 p.m. and right now it's 3:59 p.m. So we have an hour and a half of super chats that are unaccounted for.
Well then, let's give it our best shot.
I mean, I can go through it for you if you like, but you do your thing. Now would be a good time for Von Rum to drop his. Oh, weird that you say that. Yeah. Moral of the story: plot points and story elements that work for a children's cartoon don't really work for live action. Space Whales and all that.
I don't like to line up with that too much, because there's a lot of kids-made content that I consider some of the best like films of all time or some of the best stories of all time. I feel like kids deserve a bit more respect than like you can throw space whales and dumb shit into that, but not into adult stuff. And it's like you can make space whales work in adult stuff. So it's all about context, I think, with any of these things.
Yeah, I guess so. Lando series to be basically Solo 2. Yeah, what's up with the Lando series?
Don't know. Is it still? What's the last we hit on that?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Nothing. Could be good, honestly. Star Wars is done unless another company buys it. Well, no, I just gotta wake up. Just gotta wake up a little bit. I've watched some of it.
I would have thought you wouldn't like it, but that's okay. Because I specifically
I don't know why people think that. Like, I'm not like one of these intolerant.
No, it's not about
people.
Intolerance. It's like we disagree, I think, a bit on what happened in episode 5, which is totally fine. Of Ahsoka.
I'm totally capable of being able to see why you would think that.
Okay.
But for me, I'm just like, oh, cool, it's Anakin, dope. Okay, this and this, this. So my thing is like literally, I literally, I don't want to say fix it, but I come up with the theories, and that's how I honestly can cope through it. Right, so it's like whatever they do, I'll shapeshift and like maneuver, and I'll be like, well, I could figure out why they would do this because of this and this and this. So let's write it this way. Whereas if I were to write it, it would be completely different. But I just essentially tried to fit in the holes that they couldn't explain. So that's why for me things make sense. But otherwise, like if I were to write it originally, no way would I write it like that.
Our reactions would have been at least somewhat different, because to me it was like the end permanently of Star Wars watching that episode, because I figured that with this and the celebration of it, that we were never going to be able to escape the assumption that we just drop Anakin into it, we drop Vader into it, and that it'll be fine. I feel like we'll see more of him going forward, but not in a way that I want to see him, right? Like characterized, substantive, instead of just dropping him in and flashing him. That shit annoyed the hell out of me.
It's my favorite grifters. Anyway, how do you guys feel about the new Superman movie from James Gunn? Any hope, or is DC destined to always be low Marvel?
It's hard to say with that one. I can believe that Gunn is going to put a hell of a lot of effort into it. Is he the man for the job? I don't know. Judging from his past work, a lot of people would say like he's not a person who makes a Superman story, but at the same time, I like to give artists a try at trying something that they've not done before. We've gotten plenty of great stuff from artists that are not familiar with something new. I think though, if it's bad, it's just going to annihilate the new DC canon.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to start off not even just good. He needs to start off great. He needs to do a shining beacon of a movie that makes everyone go, okay.
Yeah. Filoni has a life-size, fully functional Ahsoka doll in his bedroom. Oh no. Oh no. How do you know that George wanted Ahsoka to die? What are his personal... Well, he said that. P.S. Ryan's Filoni impression stinks. Jason from Rebel Force Rated is a much better impression of him. Well, Dave Filoni literally said that. Everyone knows that George wanted Ahsoka to die. So,
what are you, his personal assistant?
I just watched the fucking video of him saying that. I strongly recommend The Clone Wars does not hold up from Sheev talks. As someone who used to think The Clone Wars has some of the best Star Wars material, this is a fair critical breakdown of the series.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't seen it yet. We're going to go through it, though.
We will.
Possibly.
The 2D.
Yes.
Hey, y'all. Just graduated. Oh, so, dude, I'm leaving tomorrow, by the way. So I'm going to be...
Gone for how long?
I don't know. I don't have a return ticket yet. I'm not sure how long I'll be gone for.
Well, I mean, that's okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can always do streams on the road. Not a big deal. Yeah, like even on my phone. So, it's all good. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Graduated from Air Force basic training. Congratulations. Great to see. I've got 2 months of great podcasts to catch up on. Love seeing these crossovers. Awesome. Hey, congrats, man. Thanks for your service. Just want to say hi to the biggest Dave Filoni fan, the great Ryan Kinel. Thank you, Malik, for the big super chat. Happy Misogyny Monday, boys.
That was the other title for the podcast, Misogyny Monday.
Misogyny Monday. That should be a good one. Maybe next week. It might die down by then. Red Dwarf has a character with a relationship with a robot, but pretty... Yeah, whatever. Just gonna move on. Star Wars is not for the old white guys that grew up with it. Get over it. Kathleen Kennedy reasoning. Yeah.
Don't know
Yeah,
why
what
it
did,
shouldn't be for everybody.
What'd that woman say? I'm not going to worry about what a white man has to say from A Wrinkle of Time or something. Some shit.
Oh, Brie Larson.
Yeah, right, Brie
Why
Larson.
did she say that? A Wrinkle in Time was terrible. And then she's like, yeah, well, you're white.
It's like literally.
Okay.
Literally. I'm interested to see if Mauler's view on Ahsoka changes after he watches the Clone Wars. I hated her like at the beginning, then find myself liking her at the end. It was surprising.
As far as I'm aware, that is the feeling a lot of people had about her over time. I'm
Yeah,
going to
she was
say,
low.
like, forecast is not great, considering there's a lot of people who I tend to agree with a lot who did not like the Clone Wars, like, much at all.
Right.
There's one guy I'd be curious to get on a Stargrift episode sometime. But
Sure. Who?
a friend of mine called Theo. He's very analytical and watched all of Clone Wars. I don't know what kind of conversations we could spark,
Yeah.
but he's not a fan of basically the whole show. So
I'm down.
but maybe
I'm
it'd
not
be
a fan
better
of the
once I've seen more of it, so I can join in a bit more.
Okay. Do a good Obi-Wan Anakin movie when the fans back. They could just do an Anakin show with the Clone Wars.
Yep.
I heard I said that once. It got clipped, and they're like, "We already have that in the Clone Wars." Yeah, but it's animated.
Yeah, no, I think I told you before, but I've seen people try to clip you out for that. It's so weird because it's like, well, it's Hayden Christensen, and there are other stories to explore in the Clone Wars, but there's also just you could adapt some of the animated ones into live action.
Yeah,
You could adapt some of the live action stuff into animation. It's not to diminish animation, and it's not to prop up live action. It's just an alternative storytelling avenue.
perspective. That's all with
Yeah.
live action. But yeah, I mean, everybody who takes clips of me just completely takes them out of context all the time, and then they run with it. You said this. Well, no. Why don't you actually refer to the clip? No, but you said it. But I didn't. Well, no, but you go watch the fucking clip, the whole thing.
Speaking of retarded lines from people, someone just said like these guys won't like Star Wars even if it's good. It's just like I liked Andor. Like, what? I don't understand. I fucking stand for Andor all the time. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. You can't cure stupid. Appreciate that you guys, particularly Mauler, stay out of politics, but I think without understanding the underlying culture and philosophy that has captured our institutions, you will always, and I guess we'll get part two in a little bit, part two here, underestimate the way that these institutions have been captured, and the coming generations of writers will be funneled into this worldview. Of course they will. We are the last generation that are, I would say, normal.
I was going to say, like, when I do assessments of things, I do my very best to judge it on its absolutely own merits. However, when we speculate about the future, when we talk about news, or when creatives say certain things, like, obviously it's all based about surrounding context, meta, and it's impossible to separate every event of Earth from every single thing a person thinks and feels about release, in all these different ways. So I understand that. I just, when it finally comes out, I'm like, all right, try and block everything out and just take it for what it is. Try and be as fair to it as possible. And I don't know, it hasn't been great results as of recently with a lot of stuff.
No, it hasn't. But everyone's got an opinion, I suppose. Awesome to see some of your favorite YouTubers talking about Star Wars together. What's up, Nino?
Hell yeah.
When I was a kid, I remember staring at the cover of Battlefront 1 and thinking how dope it is and badass. It's soft and it's for libs and little girls.
What?
What? What the fuck? That's fucking switched up, man. What? It's soft and for lips and little girls. What the hell?
Damn, Battlefront fans on Suicide Watch right now.
I can't believe Star Wars Theory and Trinker are collaborating. This is awesome. Which one of you reached out to each other first? Well, Mauler put us together.
Yeah. I feel like the network can spread a bit better when we just have people being like, hey, just have a chat. Why not?
Yeah, why
break
not?
the ice.
Literally, he's like a little matchmaker.
I mean, it's like what even made us talk? It was I think you put out a tweet asking for people to talk to about
people who come on then who want to talk shit, and
and I was like, I don't really want to talk shit, but I'll talk to you.
And everyone was like, Mauler. I'm like, oh, fuck, who's this? And then you came on, and I had my guard up, and then I was like, oh, you're actually dope. And then now we have our show.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
You never know how everything will turn out.
No, you don't. You know, irrelevant. I was gonna play it, but I just found it now. So
A matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch.
that's you, me, and Drinker.
Beautiful.
What kind of story would you tell if Ray was the villain of the movie? I wouldn't. Just
Making her the villain's a little bit difficult to do, like from the offset. I mean, she's not like some of the other characters. You know, like this is more applicable to Marvel, but there are some characters who are quote unquote heroes, but that you look at everything they do and you're like, man, that's just a straight up bad guy. Captain Marvel's a really good example of this. She uses her power for like her own gain all the time. The newest movie, The Marvels, like everything you look at all her actions, they're all to benefit her only. So it's kind of easy to slip her into a villain role. Ray is very boringly good. She doesn't really have much going on in terms of her character other than I will do what's right for the whole world all the time. So turning her into a villain is difficult. You know, the whole like dark side Ray thing, I don't know what the fuck that was.
That was bullshit.
Yeah.
They should adapt EU series of books of the Yuzon Vong invasion, Luke, Mara, the new Jedi, and the rest of the heroes. In my opinion, it would kick ass. Yeah, that'd be very nice. But they won't do that. If you don't get rid of Mauler and Ryan, me and a handful of others... Oh, yeah, right. All right, go ahead.
The classic.
Be my guest. Thanks for the super chat. What's up, Morgoth? Cheers, everyone. May the force be with you. You too, Craig. A faithful adaptation of the Darth Bane trilogy would bring a host of fans back. Yes.
Faithful.
But, you know, would they... Yeah, faithful, exactly. Loser subscribers leaving is good. Better ones come. Yeah, I don't... My goal isn't to have the most subscribers. My goal is to have people that want to watch my videos. That's it. So, you know, whether I have 3 million or 2 million or 1 million or fucking 500, you know, as long as I have a nice community of people that are like-minded and appreciate someone that can speak freely and not lie to you, then great. Awesome.
Get fucked, Disney.
Shout out to this group of 4 goats.
Ooh.
Can we just see someone actually not survive a lightsaber?
Maybe someday if you're lucky.
Yeah, literally. If you had all to choose a lightsaber color, what would you choose? Green.
Purple.
Have you read Vader and the Lost Command? Yep, it's one of the better Legends Vader comics. You should do a breakdown. I have, dude. I've done that. You go watch the videos. Go watch the comic videos. I think I was one of the first on YouTube to do a full breakdown of it and do the voices and the sound effects and the music. It was really fun making that one. Darth Vader and the Ghost Prison is my favorite, though. I've followed everyone here for years, but it all started with Star Wars Theory. Really love when you guys come together. I'm probably at Mauler commitment on Star Wars. Awesome. Thank you, man.
Sweet.
Thanks, gents. How are they effing up every show? The lore is there.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about blueprints all the time over on some other shows about how so many people have come before them making so many amazing things that like the clues to how to make a good thing are right there. And they're like, no, I know better. All right.
Yeah, everyone knows better, I suppose. They should do a show about Imperial intelligence, best part of Andor, where the Imperials are the heroes fighting for law and order.
I mean, it could be interesting to have morally good characters working as part of the Empire, trying to, you know, bring order in a way that's buyable instead of just like they're completely naive. I think Andor was trying to sort of play at that a little bit, but you know, the Partagaz side of things doesn't seem like they I think they go in the way of being like, nah, we're evil.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What's up, Matthew? Nice looking beard. When I was in grade school, teachers would have unruly kids stand with their nose and toes touching the wall in timeout. Filoni needs this. One of the teachers at my elementary school got sued for that because she had him do that to the wall, but then rub his nose against the wall, and the wall was abrasive. So he ended up cutting his nose.
Damn.
And sued them. Fell in love with Star Wars at 4 years old watching the Death Star attack. I feel Disney Star Wars lacks space battles except Rogue One. It's not essential like good writing, but don't you guys miss this too? I do, of course, yeah, but that's not, you know... I miss the lightsabers and the Force too, but we don't get at least the choreography isn't the same as it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
you
not
know?
that they lack space battles; they lack really good space battles, right? Because there's space battles throughout all the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, reading the big super chat from I Love Jet Trooper. Big $100. Glad to see Theory starting to realize the process of character assassination, subversion, and demoralization has all been deliberate and strategic on the part of these people. Have you been introduced to the Yuri Bezmenov yet? He explains what's been going on to a T. No, I don't know who that is.
I think it's
Do
not
you?
like this is new to you, right? Like character assassination, subversion, and demoralization, so to speak, in terms of writing. It's just that
Of course not.
you've got less and less patience for it as time goes on. That's the impression I get.
I don't have patience for it anymore. In the beginning, it wasn't like I never saw it. I saw it, but I thought that there must be some sort of a reason for it. That so I'd come up with different theories and stuff. Hence the channel, the literal point of the channel, and you realize that it's just not the case. That they just don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Eventually, you wake up and you realize, okay, yeah, it's not really like I thought. Finally got around to watching 03 Clone Wars, and I hate 80% of that show. I can't believe people prefer 03 over 08. Jedi Shaggy and Superman Mace Windu knuckleballing droids. Brawling droids broke me. I thought it was dope.
Who's Jedi Shaggy?
I think he means... Does he mean Obi-Wan?
I don't know.
Oh, God. You guys remember the 501st Journal of the OG Battlefront 2 game? Yeah, Timur Morrison is a hell of a narrator. Imagine a movie about that. Absolutely.
Those little clips on their own would have been enough to make a movie out of. They were that good. I don't know what the fuck happened.
I know.
Remember, like they go to, I think, was it Mustafar, and there's like a Geonosian that's powered up the droid manufacturers, and you got to kill him and the droid army that's been generated there as the Empire.
Out in Battlefront 2, I didn't go that far.
It's all in the 501st campaign. It's there's so many cool little ideas they had for campaign options.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna copyright me as well, as always. Hey, I'm a gay actor, Michael Douglas, and I like Star Wars.
Gay actor Michael Douglas is he's just a big fan of Star Wars. Yeah.
Is this an inside joke?
I mean, there's a guy who super chats us all the time on EFAP beginning with "I'm gay actor Michael Douglas," and then they say something. Just wants to make sure you know.
Favorite pod and racer, mine is Gascano with his Ord Pedrovia. He finished in second place in the Moon to Eve race from episode 1. I forgot what's his name. His shit blew up. I forgot it.
Most of them blew up, right?
What's his name? Gotta find it. Pod race blow up guy. Oh, there he is. Ben Quadraneros. I liked him the most. He looked like the caterpillar from A Bug's Life.
I know you mean, yeah.
Yeah. Much respect for the Vader film. I do like it, but when I see Vader in costume hugging Padme, it kills me. I'm very sorry. Yeah, no worries. That was yeah, there won't be any of that in season in 2 or 3. No worries. It's a dream. Remember when R2 almost murdered 3PO in episode 2? Yep.
When he pushed him off the ledge, you mean?
I thought he was going to shoot him or take his head. Wait, in episode 2.
Tackle the Clone.
Oh yeah, when he pushed him off the ledge.
I remember there's those people that are just like, why the fuck did R2 do that? It's like, I guess
he's just tired of his ass.
It was like
He just wanted them to drop in the thing. He's like, you got to go in this thing.
Yeah, but look what happened to C-3PO though.
I know. His head got freaking put on a B1. Much love to you all. Star Wars can use some love, less hate amongst fans nowadays. My son and I can use some advice as we are starting a small Star Wars review page. Anything helps and is much appreciated. Oh yeah, for sure. I made a few videos on how I started my channel. Essentially just talk about the stuff you like and, be relentless at it. Make a video every single day. Build your own little community. And from there, it's like a snowball and it just grows over time. It's just a lot of time and a lot of work. That's all it is. You can talk about whatever you want. The movies, the comics, the books, It's gonna be someone that's gonna enjoy it. Best of luck, man. Have fun with it. It's a beautiful father-son bonding thing. Was that Mickey that just walked by his window? IG-88's legendary story was a very interesting one, with it ending with IG-88 integrating with Death Star 2's systems to take control of it. What's up, James? What's up, members? Shout out to all the members. Matt Lanter or Hayden Christensen for Star Wars What If? I choose Hayden Christensen.
I assume it depends for you on whether it's animated, is it? Or?
Oh, so Mariana, you better come and say hi. What's up, Sean? Have you taken a look at the animated Heir to the Empire by Jar Jar Jargon? I saw some of it. Also, would the four of you come sides making a fan film together? I'm totally open to that if that's what the boys want to do. Yeah.
I'm not sure how it would work exactly. Be like shared writing credits and budget maybe, but
so we don't even have to do a budget. We could just do it like an old school, like when we were kids, just film stuff behind a green screen, send it to each other, and then we compile it, edit it, wear wigs, change voices. What's up, Benjamin? Member for 34 months. You need good world building. Oh wait, he had a comment. Luke became more stoic after the death of his father and his growth as a Jedi. Yep, absolutely.
Sure.
But you still feel like he would have asked what's going on, right?
Oh, Jeff, I feel like he'd be super curious, and he'd be worried about the sort of well-being of everybody, but he'd also be really worried about what all of this means for the rise of the Empire, and you want to make sure he understands everything that's happening.
You need good world building to make characters matter and give the world weight. That's one thing that Disney fails at.
They fail at all of it. But I'm inclined to. Well, it's hard to give, it's hard to say that Disney knows how to do X because they made Andor. But if you're going to say, it's a generalized thing, technically speaking, just because Rian Johnson made Last Jedi doesn't mean Disney do or do not know how to do a thing. So, overall, I just think they're in a shambles generally, because Andor just seemed like an anomaly, which, you watch it and then among all the other shows they've made, it really is. Then you find out how it was made, right? Different team, different guy. And the one thing that will stick with me forever is Tony Gilroy saying he took time to redraft all the scripts. I was like, no one else is doing that, and not only Star Wars but fucking Marvel either. They don't take the script seriously at all.
Yeah,
which is such a shame.
I agree. Did we show the social media messages that show that Pablo Hidalgo posted that he seething loathes you? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not posting anything. What if Luke and Leia never made out?
Changes everything.
Here's my question. Did Star Wars really need to come back at all? Should George just have taken it with him in his grave to prevent it from damage?
I mean, we'd all like to be able to celebrate new Star Wars stuff. Let's keep the IP going, keep the wonderful will going, get new characters to, be inspired by. But I suppose if the timeline is either what we have right now, or, we just stop after the prequels, I guess, I'd stop after the prequels.
Well, I wanted George to make the sequels. He was going to do 7, and then he didn't. What if Qui-Gon didn't cheat Watto out of one perfectly good slave child? I
assume Qui-Gon would have come back, right?
It's possible. Possibly.
Possibly.
I guess I don't know. What does it even look like if Anakin didn't go with him? I guess, does Qui-Gon still die? Probably still does, I guess.
No, I think things would have changed then in that situation. It's possible. Yeah, no, he still would have probably died, man. But I think they're in Vader, was it The Rise and Fall of Darth Vader? No, Dark Lord, The Rise of Vader, that one. He was basically in the Jedi Temple, and he was thinking, okay, what if I didn't leave Tatooine and become a Jedi? Then he says he would have just been a pro pod racer and never understood the Force, but he would have never known why he was so good at it, because he could anticipate all of the moves and everything that he needed to do. So he had no idea. He would have no idea that he was so powerful in the Force, and he would live a good life. He literally thinks that to himself. How many midichlorians does Kylo Ren have? Probably like 14,000, 10,000. The next step is to make Ahsoka the Force, so they can prove that the Force is female.
Oh boy.
When you meet Theory for the first, gift him a bottle of Bucky. I don't drink.
Not at all.
No.
Fair enough.
I mean, are you? Well, you're not going to be there. I mean, I'll have one drink. I have one drink, sure, but I don't typically drink. It'll be a very special occasion. Theory, I want to write my version of the Rey movie for your next fan fiction. It's incredible. Right on. Cool. Don't worry, Theory. You can't be racist towards white people. Did you see the dumb petition to kick out Gina from Fan Expo Vancouver? So stupid. There's a petition now. Oh, okay. Well, welcome to Canada. You think Ahsoka is setting up Abeloth as a villain? I don't think so, man. I think it's got to be the father or something. I don't think he's dead. Or the son. I don't think they're dead.
I figured it was just they're making an army of zombies, and Thrawn is going to attack with an army of zombies, and it's going to be lame as fuck.
Probably. Clone Wars, Rulers. But there's so many cool stories they could do with that. Like, what's that going to happen with Cal Kestis and Marin? They're going to be... They're going to have some fighting. Hey, Theory, check out the fan film Wingman. You still talk to Josh? Y'all still boys? We don't talk, no. We had our show, and he had to go and do his thing, and that was it. How come we never hear about Gareth Edwards doing more Star Wars after the success of Rogue One? Not sure.
Well, didn't he leave that project, or they booted him off, and Gilroy finished it off, right? So there's probably a creative differences thing going on.
For sure.
Yeah.
He mentored the director of my first fan film. I made a vid proving it wasn't Taika Waititi that ruined Stormtroopers. It's for Mauler and in good fun.
Were they put proving in quotes? I'm assuming it's a meme, but
for sure.
Fair enough.
What do you think of new rock stars? Good breakdowns, in my opinion. I actually don't like their content.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No. In my opinion, I think it's just very scripted. It's very like... It's just not my style. Yeah. Not into it. And he's also made some, I'd say more so, shitty tweets towards me when I had my opinion on Andor. So, I mean, that's fine, you know. Have at it, buddy. It's all good. Do you agree with Nerdonymous about how Ryan wasn't at fault for a couple mistakes, especially with the Ryan interviews context we have now?
It would depend on... Yeah, it would depend on what he means with what ones. I'll try and get the videos watched so I can answer.
Are they long?
They might be like an hour, I think, something like that.
Fan idea. Old Man Windu show directed by Spike Lee. Breaking news. Representative Kanye impeached from the Galactic Congress on Coruscant after alleged anti-Semitic comments against the Jedi. More after. My body is stuffed to this stream. You guys are awesome. I'm sorry, you're what? Your body is stuffed to this stream?
Hey, you know, I'll take a compliment, I guess.
Don't know if you heard about Godzilla -1 theory, but the director of it wants to make a Star Wars movie. Everybody does. Everybody does. I want to make a Star Wars movie. Who would win Darth Vader versus Jean Jacket from Nope? I don't know who that is. Vader would win.
Yeah.
No idea who that is.
But Vader would win.
Yeah. What do you think about a movie? That tells you everything you need to know about me. What do you think about a movie that explains how the Balkan spies got the plans for the second Death Star? They could show rebels boarding the Death Star while it's under construction to steal plans.
Sure. You know what the Bothan spies, right?
Maybe that's what he means. If they ever do... It's like stupid autocorrect. If they ever do another Star Wars movie, they have to piss off men fan base. Put a chick in it and make her lame. Loving the grift, says Mo. I have no faith in Lucasfilm. It's like a bunch of sickly vegans have bought my favorite steakhouse and hate me for wanting to have a ribeye. I mean, yeah, that's kind of similar. Darth Grogu would kill everyone. He choked out Gina Carano. So. Would you agree that Disney sees Star Wars only as a platform to push their political woke agendas rather than a genuine story? Yeah, absolutely. And didn't Bob Iger just say that that was our problem, that we shouldn't have been doing that? So, you know, it's like, is he going to stick to... Yeah, he says a lot of shit, but doesn't do anything about it. How does it feel now to be counted amongst Drinker in that you are now ruthlessly hated on Reddit? So multiple rage threads, 10K plus upvotes about you guys the last 2 days.
Yep.
Cool. I didn't see that.
Big one for Gary recently, and people were like, the fact that people watch him means it's the end of like the world. They fucking take it so far.
Yeah, I have a real issue with that kind of thinking because what it does, it purports like a real echo chamber where you can't have anyone else voicing their opinions. And for God's sakes, we're voicing opinions on movies.
Yeah. No, it's absurd. It's gone insane.
It's really ridiculous where, like, why do you have such a problem with, like, my opinion doesn't invalidate your opinion of the sequel trilogy. You know, I guarantee you if I had 2 followers, no one would care. Nobody would care. So what? Because I have a subscriber base that I worked for, that now I have to shut my mouth and appease everyone? Like, I'm not going to do that.
The craziest part is when someone who's like been listening to their perspective on our stuff finally is like, man, they sound insane. I'm going to go check out a video just to see how insane this is. And then they hear like 2 guys just talking about like, oh yeah, you know, what are you up to today? It's like, oh yeah, this, that, the other's like, oh, thank you for, you know, this message. And they're just sitting there like, where's the hyper crazy toxic nonsense? You're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Good luck finding it.
Yeah, I know it's super weird. I don't really understand it. I would implore anybody that has a problem with me to actually come on the show right now, even, and just be like, hey, what's up? Like, anything you want to say on Twitter, you just say it here. And they never do. Nobody does. And it's like, okay, well, I guess you're just using me for clicks then and views, because anytime someone talks about me or you or Drinker or Ryan, they get views about it. You know, but notice we don't do that about other people. We don't create Reddit threads on other people. We just talk about Star Wars or what we like, what we don't like. And
What's funny is we often on EFAB encourage people that we cover to improve, and that you don't have to. There's no sense of like stop watching them. It's like no, you can keep at it. If you're interested in their work, you like them, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand it. It's like, bro, I have an opinion on Star Wars. Cool. Like I want it to be great. And that's it. And if you have an issue with that, then that's really something to do with you, because, man, there's millions and billions of people out there that have different opinions than me about everything. Doesn't mean I have to shut them up. It just means I just don't agree with their opinion. Okay. Oh, no. Like, whatever. It is what it is. Dex's Diner. What's up, Tommy? Congrats, your Grogu has evolved into Grogusaur. Would you have loved to see Mando helping a younger, inexperienced bounty hunter who he sees himself in, teaches about the world, and making a bond with? I'm going to unsubscribe if you don't have all 4 of you guys on for every show. That'd be nice. You guys all effing rock. Keep up the good fight, boys. Sorry, I just joined the show late and was having to watch in super speed mode. All good, man. Yeah, do you guys like the dynamic of the 4 of us?
I feel like they're going to say yes.
I want them to say yes. The hard truth, this Star Wars needs to stop. We need new ideas and a new creative visionary. Kids have no franchise to grow up with today.
Not in the same vein, no.
No, not at all. I think Vaughn was right. I think there are people at Lucasfilm that agree with us but don't speak up out of fear to... Oh, there are. I have a lot of people that I speak to that work at Lucasfilm, and they're like, you're doing a great job. Like, I can't really say anything, can't talk about you, can't talk about anything to do with how I actually feel about Star Wars. I just do my work, I show up, and that's it. I'm like, yeah. And then there are people that have been there since George was involved, and they have watched the literal expulsion of their entire work base and coworkers, and had Disney come in and interject all of their new people, their own people in there in Lucasfilm. and they've seen the purge themselves. So no, there's tons of it. There's tons of that. They just want to keep their job. Most say Obi-Wan's hilt was lost in episode 1, and he made the exact copy in episode 2, which he lost again before getting his classic hilt. Dumb. Maybe he recovered his original in episode 1 after they fight.
I mean, because Darth Maul kicked it down the hole, whatever.
Thing.
Not impossible to recover it, I guess.
He probably just remade it. I just love how Anakin's in episode 2 is the same shape as Vader, his Vader one, just skinnier. Since Grogu's species is a mystery, they will have Grogu physically change from a male to a female at age 55 or so, just like some animals do on Earth. Maybe.
Sweet. That'll be good for the story.
Yeah, that really helps a lot. I rewatched that fight scene with Daredevil from Echo, and lucky for them, I seen much worse fight scenes or awful choreography in other shows. Appreciate y'all what you do.
Yeah, Echo is the newest Marvel fail. You don't need to worry yourself with that.
No, I don't. Darth Rey has to fight Anakin's clone. Only Fix. Hey guys, big fan. But then she'll probably beat him. Big fan. If they do a What If series, how would a What If Grogu turns to the dark side be if Mando gets killed and Grogu slaughters everyone? Yeah, I don't think that would ever happen.
Dark side Grogu.
Dark side Grogu. I mean, you'd just be like Palpatine and Vader. The fact that we're still in the 2016 gender war mentally 8 years later is insane. Until we move on, Disney is cooked. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
KK has been in, well, that's the problem, is that like there's just too much of a focus on gender, and I don't know why. I don't know. What do you think about it? Why is there so much of a focus on this?
I don't know. It's just like weird new modern era sort of interest in some level of like solving problems on a social level that I don't know fully exist. I think that there are things to address, both male and female, on the sides of society, but the female ones have like exploded with sort of interest and control, and then I think there's overcompensation. And now, like, you know, it always moves on, the eras, and I don't know what one we're currently in where there's a huge pushback to the point where, like I said, I think a South Park episode making fun of them, it's like, oh shit, like, yeah, this has gotten pretty high up now to the point of everybody noticing weird shit going on. So I don't know what happens next, you know?
Would like to see the perception from Sadiq Khan on why everything now is focused on gender, which has been clipped into oblivion, then go ahead and check out my interview with her, my episode with her on Theory Talks, or on my Twitter. And some pretty good insight. KK has been entrenched too long. Removing her will solve little. I say we go aliens on Lucasfilm. It's the only way to be sweet. Naboo Fighter detachable trailer for bounties? Possibly. Do an Unforgiven in space with former Sith as the protagonist and a gangster as the antagonist. Star Wars is as much Western as it is fantasy.
You could replace Unforgiven with like any good film and be like, do that, but in Star Wars. And it's just the ultimate problem is do something good in Star Wars, please. There's something that works.
Would be nice. What's up, Michael? What's up, Taylor? Isn't Ahsoka dead in the sequels because one of the voices Rey hears in Rise of Skywalker is hers? Not that it matters because no one will ever really be gone, but still. Yeah, no, so Dave Filoni said that he doesn't know. Was it Dave or Ashley?
You know why? It's because they're like, wait, shit, we might not want her dead yet. Hang on.
Well, yeah, they're going to do the World Between Worlds thing.
Yeah.
So she's going to walk by one of the doors and be like,
use the Force, Rey!
Yeah, literally, like, the writers could just say, like, no, that access is all living and dead Jedi or something, actually.
Use the Force.
Like, through one of the doors. Like,
yeah.
And then closes it. Oh, that was weird. Can we get a little Mandoa if we're doing the Mando movie, please? Mandoa?
Mandoa.
Check out Drinker's book series. They're very well written. He has a book series?
He does.
Cool. What about?
Ryan Drake. So it's like a special agent type sort of situation, undercovery, or under the cover of darkness, like wet work sort of situations, action type character who's having to get under conspiracies or mysteries, lots of action, bit of violence, that sort of thing. That's what his short film is going to be an adaptation of.
Cool.
Yeah.
Star Wars will flourish with non-profit fan-made projects, not so much with official licensed content. The sad fact is that we are in the wilderness and the Empire took over. We will have to wait. How you doing for time?
You got me in the position of I hate to leave before super chats are addressed. It's one of my.
I know. We're at 4
things.
p.m. and it's 4:41 p.m. right now.
I will keep going.
I mean, we could always do another stream another day and just read them, but yeah, let's keep going. That dude who made the comment about 90% of the movie posters focusing on males is missing the point. Star Wars was meant to be a boy brand. Lucas stated it was made for 12-year-old boys, even though girls like it as well.
It's just not even close to the problem for me. Like I don't really care who's on the front as long as it's like
I don't care.
fucking, yeah.
Could be a woman. It doesn't matter. You know. I want to write my version of. Oh, you sending this twice? It would destroy Disney's. Dude, why don't you write it and record it and upload it?
Yeah.
You don't need me. Star Wars Theory seems like the perfect Star Wars fan due to his resting sad face. Okay, resting sad face once again. You know, when I was a kid, my parents would even say that. I would be like, "Are you okay? Are you mad? What's wrong? Are you?" It's just the way my face sits, man. Just the way my face sits. So, too bad.
Fair enough.
Do you ever? What does your face look like?
If I have resting whatever face, I'll just I don't know. I don't care. Like I mean, it's good to keep in mind. If ever I thought you were like in a bad mood, I'll now know that it's neutral sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like I need to come with a disclaimer. Like, hey, I look like I'm angry or pissed off, but I'm really not. It's just the way my face sits. Nothing. Unless I got to walk around like this all the time.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know. So. Yeah, like during watch parties, I'll be watching and I glance over at chat and like, Theory looks fucking bored, man. I'm like, I was actually really enjoying it. What do you mean? It's like pretty good. What's up, X-Wing? Oh man, I missed the whole thing. Playing Sea of Thieves with Jay. Love to see you guys finally relax and breathe. Star Wars fans, man, we were all hurt. Yep,
a little bit.
Yep, enjoy Sea of Thieves, dude. Hope you'll be at MegaCon. You should do a debate with Sheev Talks, Mauler, Ryan, and Marco Kate about the Clone Wars and Star Wars as a whole. Sure. What's up, Jake? That's where the fun begins. Hey, Theory, got any updates on the Snips zip-up? Ordered mine on 25th of August, and it hasn't shipped yet. That's very strange. Are you sure you didn't get it refunded? Because everyone has received theirs back in December. Unless you ordered it. That's weird. Can you send me your order number? Because I don't think there's a single person that didn't receive theirs yet. Unless there was a... Check your email. But yeah, send me... If you can go into the Discord and reach out to Tank Girl and send her your order number, and they'll have that figured out for you, man. Imagine if Disney made a series similar to Bucketheads where Stormtroopers doing Stormtrooper things, battles and all, but Disney being Disney. Yeah, they're out of touch. They don't get it, man. Glad to see my favorite creators coming together.
Yeah.
Recently resubscribed, was heartbroken with Disney's character assassinations, and stepped away from Star Wars entirely for 2 years. Glad to be back, even though Disney is still messing it all up.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're back, dude. Thanks so much. Thanks for dropping in. What would you think of Abeloth being added to canon? Fine. It's just about execution.
Yeah, how they do it.
I would take a 24/7 stream of a Death Star troop just pushing buttons in the Death Star over anything Disney Star Wars. Papa Sergio, so would I.
Just pushing buttons.
Beep.
They can't fuck that up.
Ewoks are great at riding speeder bikes.
They really are.
Into trees. Jedi Shaggy is Oh, right, that guy. Oh, yeah, that guy with the freaking goatee. Yeah. Yep. I gotta show you this, dude. It's freaking hilarious.
Jedi Shaggy. Oh my god.
Got a few little
He does look like Shaggy.
chin hairs. I don't know, Scoops.
Can't wait to see him.
Yeah. Hey Theory, been a subscriber since 2019. Bit of a rough time to be a Star Wars fan, but your content helped me get me into the franchise. I recently finished the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Congratulations, that's awesome.
These are your first steps, Ray.
Well, I'm glad you subscribed for such a long time now. This is 5 years. Jesus, dude. Jedi Shaggy is crushed by Grievous and oh fuck, you just ruined it for him. Great collab tonight.
It's about
guys.
the Jedi, okay?
But in an ideal world, which other company would you guys want to see own Star Wars? Maybe an independent company.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not like a I don't know if there's a big company that's currently going that I'm like, oh, if only they had Star Wars. You know, it doesn't really feel that way.
I know. We're making steam now. We're almost there. Not sure why Palpy thinks Luke will be evil if he kills him. Pretty sure Luke would have still been good after.
It was more about giving in to that side of himself, right? Letting that side of himself control him.
And what Yoda said is once you start down on that path, you know, forever will it dominate your destiny. It's like and that was the thing in the books is it wrote about Anakin's journey into that dark side when he killed the Tuskens. And that was like pure evil rage where he just hated them. So once you get that taste, you'll start using that always during fights, and then eventually it just takes you over. It may take a year. It take a few years. Look what happened to Anakin. It took 3 years. You ever considered reading Heart of the Jedi, one of the true OT sequels, as a read along? Each video is a chapter. I'd love to do that, but that's actually illegal. So if I were to do that, I would have to pause and make it my own somehow by like talking about chapter or whatever. But it's too much for me to be reading in the sense that they could like, you know, strike me for that. So if I take like, let's say a few pages and then I talk about it, that's fine. There's a mission in Lego Skywalker Saga called Once More with Sealing. Padawan Shaggy is from Clone Wars 03. Grievous kills him. Yeah, you ruined it.
People feel the need to mention that every time.
Yeah, fuck. Now this is a good rat moober.
Mm.
I'm gay. I'm an actor. I'm Michael Douglas. Do you know what this means?
It means you're a powerful creator, and we can't wait to see more from you.
It means you can't be canceled. Why didn't George Lucas sell Star Wars to Warner Bros? He literally did everything with Warner Bros. And 20th Century Fox. I don't understand why he trusted Bob. Because Bob basically pushed for the Young Indiana Jones show season 2 when season 1 tanked, and he had it made. And George always thanked him for that and remembered that. So when it came time to sell, it came to Bob for a favor that was done 20 years prior, early 90s. We search and search for answers, but there are none. Colonel Gascon. Show focused on Rick, the door technician. It could work. Just have him be everywhere. Bet is also on Mortis.
Yeah, all right.
I have a major problem with you, Theory. You're so cute and strong and sexy and buff and beautifully bald and got hella women. I hate you. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
The Theory Mauler haters have excess estrogen. Probably. Y'all here to brighten my day after the Browns crapped all over my damn weekend.
I'm so sorry.
Was that baseball?
I have no idea.
Right. A person said we need to F Nerdrotic and also posted what he thought has... Oh.
I don't know if that's fuck or kill.
Probably kill.
I think it might have been kill, and it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, they need to fucking calm down. I'm sorry Nerdrotic thought that the newest Marvel thing was bad.
Yeah. Let's try to take his life. I mean...
The worst thing about it is he'll make jokes that he knows will provoke people, and it's fun when they get provoked, but then you get people like this who respond like this. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, let's just take the guy's life because he has a view in movies.
Oh, yeah, these are people, if they could press a button to erase him, they would do it in an instant. Which is really sad.
Enjoy jail, I guess, for the rest of your life. Cool. or the death penalty wherever you're at.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's yeah. I mean, I've gotten my fair share of death threats too, but that's just comes with the internet. And look, at this point, I'm like, if that's how I'm supposed to go, well, then that's how I'm supposed to go, and that's I'll just be immortalized for like what I stand for. But it's the internet, man. I really don't buy too much into it at all. People say shit online all the time. But at the end of the day, if it is your destiny. The sequels are amazing. Oh,
Could you fucking imagine that on a panel? They detonate, like they run up to the panel. They're like, the sequels were awesome.
for the sequels. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, I'm sorry I didn't like the films. Like, I want Star Wars to. I wish I loved the sequels. I really do. But I fucking don't, and it like ruined my childhood characters. Like, fuck you. Like, what do you want? Be happy you like it.
Yeah.
Like, what do you care what I think? I don't know, man. Your vids and discussions have been great. Thanks, J&M. The group of whiny freaks that follow into your comment sections amaze me. They're all about topic and tone policing, zero substance. Keep going, bro. Also, thanks for the intro to Mauler. 3-hour reviews. Man. Well, you know
3
what?
hours. Look at my short ones, I guess.
Yeah, you know what? I've been following suit on your stuff. So my gym channel called Strength Theory, my fucking vlogs there are like over an hour long.
Hey.
Yeah, usually vlogs are what, like 20 minutes. So
Long is a power that when you start it, you can't escape. Then
I can't,
Yoda would
dude.
warn people against the long.
Yeah, I love it now. It's great. It's awesome. So shout out my gym channel, Strength Theory. Vlogs every day. Gonna be going to Venice Beach in a couple days. Go to Gold's Gym, train where Arnold trained, and
Hey.
I heard it smells like piss there. So
Oh, cool.
I've never actually been to Venice Beach. I've been to LA many times. Never been to Venice Beach. So we'll see. I'll be able to confirm. Who else here likes to make men uncomfortable?
Hell
Everybody. Everybody. Representation isn't the issue in Star Wars. The stories and writing are really bad. Disney making certain, excuse me, certain ideologies isn't because they care. They just want your money. Oh, they don't care. They use all of us, man. They're using everybody. What do you think is going to turn out to be worse when it comes out? The new Rey trilogy they are making, or the next 2 Avengers films?
Oh, that's a tough one because the Rey trilogy is that like happening? Like fucking another 3 movies with it.
The Rey trilogy.
I actually don't know the answer to that question because they're different beasts of horrible. The 2 of those, like, trust me, if you knew everything that's happened with Marvel, like the 2 Avengers movies next, the first question you have, of course, is who the fuck are the Avengers right now?
Yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are.
Nobody does.
Oh, did I read this one? I did.
Yeah.
What's up, Amelia? Activists create hate threads, echo chambers to advertise the political normies. They're concerned with whose worldview reaches the average person, very aware of how art can be a vehicle to teach people their worldview. Of course, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's like a good version of that, Like there's a lot of, like, take the OT, for example. There's a lot of really good morals that can be infused in someone by being inspired by that film.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be more, hot button topics or anything. It's more broad, more fundamental.
Yeah.
And I'm totally fine with that. Like I wish we had more films that like put courage, bravery, and integrity at the top of the list of things that you need to have to run a good life, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I think there's it's like a Trojan horse, They're using shows and movies and stuff, and they're trying to instill things that really don't belong. I mean, no one's saying don't be inclusive. No one's saying be racist. No one's saying be sexist.
Can you imagine? Hey, Theory, I'm making a movie where it's about being racist. No, it's good.
Well, it's like those aren't even like. No one's saying those are good things, but it's like they're driving a point to kind of make it almost like men are shit, men are bad, men are. I mean, whenever something is pushed one way so far, it eventually gets pushed the other way, and that's been proven time and time in history. And I just think the most healthy thing would just to be very equal about things and just enjoy movies and shows for the story, and to have both male and female protagonists or antagonists, and they both help each other. Not one is better than the other because of their gender.
Yeah.
There's just a cool dynamic between the two that each can do different things just as well. And I think that in turn would make a really cool story where it's not about this divisiveness to divide and conquer kind of thing, which has been like the mandate of all time. So I truly feel like if we really want to move forwards as people, we need to stop this division of gender, and we need to just judge each other on who we are as people. And then when we come to writing stories, the story. That's it. I don't care if there's a man on the poster or a woman on the poster, or she's black or white or what Asian. It doesn't matter. Just cool. Make a cool story. That's it. Don't give a shit. We need and/or quality writing from people that understand exactly why the original cantina scene makes Star Wars special, and/or lacked care for lore. Bricks and Screws argument: AK-47s don't belong. Yeah, I know, and it's a super weird thing because it's like that's what the point I was trying to make. It's like, we're in a galaxy far, far away, and everything that Ralph McQuarrie drew and did was exceptionally unique to space and to a different time that never brought us into this world that we're in today. So you would never watch Star Wars and be like, oh, I plainly see something that's in this world and take you to like Home Depot or Rona or whatever. It's so therein lies, when you have a camera which has like fucking Phillips screw heads, like it takes you out of it, and you don't see those as plainly put in sight, zoomed in any Star Wars media or project. And so when I made that comment, I'm like, we need to be seeing something that's extremely different than this world, which is what Ralph McQuarrie made a very important point to do in all of his designs. But that went over people's heads because
I'm not quite convinced by that. Like, I feel like distant part of the galaxy can be designed in different ways, that it almost makes more sense to have them be so different looking than places we're more familiar with. But even I was like surprised to see an AK-47 sort of thing. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And if anything, in me, I was more so just like, I wonder how that happened, and I wonder where the different interest in design comes from. Maybe learn a bit more about how the different parts of the world run differently, different areas. But I don't know. The thing with Andor is just that like it didn't capture a lot of the Star Wars fandom, and it's a problem that is annoying, but that needs solving if they were going to continue it, which beyond season 2, I'm guessing they're not.
Well, it's like, why wouldn't you just have a blaster that looks like a blaster on AK-47? Why wouldn't you just have screws that are maybe circular inserts? Something that just doesn't look so, go down to the hardware store kind of thing and grab it, It's such an easy fix. It's supposed to be, there were so many people commenting about it. It's like, literally looks like AK-47. It's like, what the hell is this? And was it supposed to be primitive, or was it supposed to, I don't know what it was supposed to portray. But yeah, there was one comment that came to mind during a live stream, and it gets immortalized, and people pick at it.
No, I understand that, yeah.
Super weird. Super strange. John Papa Sergio says Dave and John has all the tools and characters he needs to pretty much make Tombstone in space for his movie. But 100% they don't have the mind to do it. Tombstone? Is that a movie?
Tombstone is an awesome Western movie, yeah.
Oh, really?
Again, it's kind of like the point I was saying earlier. It's like, yeah, take any awesome film, and like they can just do it in Star Wars if they want to, but I don't know if they'll ever actually do it.
1993. Dude, I gotta watch this.
Kurt Russell. It's good shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this tonight.
Do it.
Mauler has resting gas mask. Darth Banks in Rey film and will use Force sodomy.
Darth Banks will save Star Wars.
Oh, shit. The female market is too big for greedy Disney to pass up. They want all of the male audience that they've already had, and the female audience, but failed to get either properly. What's up, Tommy? It's a pleasure to watch you boys shoot on Star Wars. Best collab since Jimmy Neutron and Timmy Turner. Speaking of Jimmy Neutron, I'm actually going to be hanging out with Steve Odekirk when I'm down in LA. So if you know who that is, he's the creator of Jimmy Neutron.
Sweet.
Yeah. And Kung Pao. Please invite Robert M. Burnett. He's cool. Absolutely. Would love to. Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, Nick? Wondering what days you're going to MegaCon. Consider going, so maybe I can come say what's up. I'm going to be there Saturday, Sunday.
There you go.
Yeah. What Star Wars character would be the best power lifter? No force allowed. I bet Chewie's deadlift is nuts.
Well, I'm thinking. I mean,
Who's that?
Dexter Jetster could probably lift quite a bit. I'm just saying.
No, who's that dude in the Force Awakens that was sitting in Maz's cantina with that girl?
I don't know his
like-
name, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, probably that guy.
Or a Wampa.
Yeah, Wampa was like a snow Wookiee. All's got resting bitch face, resting British face. Evening Theory saying hi from Ireland. We are going to be interviewing John Jackson Miller this month, Kenobi author. Sweet. That's great. Hope
Yeah,
the girls
awesome.
are doing well. Yeah, that's awesome. They'll be big. Imagine it was Ahsoka instead of Rey in the sequels. Would have had Kylo versus Ahsoka and Ahsoka seeking Luke. Also her alongside Han Solo and R2.
I don't know if she'd be beating the allegations that she's become the most important person in the
It's
universe.
quite possible. Quite possible. I have an idea. Star Wars should try writing a story for the Rey movie.
Ooh,
And
I've
what is
heard that one before. Good stuff.
live stream? Also, is Mauler Welsh?
I'm very Welsh, actually. Good flag they got in that image there.
Where's Welsh?
Where's Wales? And we are
Where's Wales?
just to the bottom left of England, around there.
Yeah, you all
Our
have
own
different
little
accents.
section.
Eh?
Oh yeah.
Different accents. What's like a part of England that I shouldn't go to?
I don't know most of it. Most people would tell you don't go to London these days. It's a fucking mess.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I'm not a good guide on where to go in England exactly. I don't spend much time there.
Is Wales a small part of it? Like, is it a little town?
Well, no, we're off to the left. Like I said, if you look at Britain and section it out into the individual countries, you'll spot Wales pretty easily. So
Oh, nice. I spelt it wrong. Pictures of whales popping up.
Wales. Oh yeah. I mean that does happen.
Oh, it's quite old. Quite old town.
Oh yeah, Britain's an old boy.
Sure is. Big 40. Hope your week is great, homie. Congrats, Benjamin, on... Well, thank you, I should say, for being a member for 40 months. That's insane. What's up, Brett? He says, back in 99, there was a fan film called George Lucas in Love about George writing Star Wars. It's on YouTube. Kind of goofy, but you'd like it. Oh, check it out. Long is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
And I learned this power.
Did you?
Yes.
I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you.
Tommy Trips, Disney should sell Marvel and Disney to MTV. They made an animated Spider-Man series with adult topics and follow comic book source material from Stan Lee. MTV? Jeez. I meant sell Star Wars to MTV. I don't know about that, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, babe, I love to make men uncomfortable. Let's take over Star Wars in a woman's eye. Let's somehow destroy this company even more because of women power. Look who created Star Wars. A male. Is that a
lot
leg?
of interesting emojis after that. It's like a merman with
The trident and the
Eagle.
eagles for freedom, I guess, and then an explosion, and then a nothing, and a leg. Nice. Thanks, Chad Bain. See you tonight on Theory Talks. If BlackRock and Vanguard give money to have a DEI movie made at $300 million a pop, what movie do you think will get made? The crap we have now. Well, depends on the writers. I guess. I don't know. Hopefully it's a good
Another thing,
story.
the writers still have a decent chunk of power with a lot of these projects. They can,
Of course.
they could sneak in good writing.
But it's like Jar Jar. It's like, who do they put in power? You know? It's like
Yeah.
Jar Jar put freaking Palpatine in power. Okay, thanks, Jar.
Thanks, Jaw Man.
Yeah, thanks, dude. That concludes the super chats. I know you got to bounce.
We did it.
We did it. We concluded the stream. I hope
What
I
a
didn't miss anyone.
wonderful episode of Star Grief.
That was an awesome episode. We had over 6,300 viewers or something like that. Let me see what the stats are here. How do I check this shit? Concurrent viewers. Yes, dude, we had 6,600, over 6,600 viewers.
More than 6,000 toxic
600.
misogynists. Damn.
Yeah. Probably some people looking to clip stuff. We appreciate your views too.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, so next time you see us, I will be traveling somewhere, and I'll be in. Oh, next Monday I should probably be in Florida by that point. But hey, if I see you guys in California, cool. If I don't, I don't. And then I'll see you guys in MegaCon, which will be dope. If you guys are going there, once again, type M. Let me see you. Von Rum's drunk story was hilarious. Yeah.
Are you Jon Favreau?
Don't
What?
lie to me.
Hey, what happened with Mando?
Why'd you fuck everything up, John?
Why'd you fuck up? Can I have some change?
Like, he's fucking, it's not Jon Favreau.
Can I direct the next Star Wars?
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
Guys, it's Jon Favreau. Let's fuck him up.
Yeah. Anyways, where's MegaCon? It's in Orlando. Yeah, February 1 to 4. So I'll see you guys there. We'll see you next week as well. Love you all. Leave a like on the stream. Check out Theory Sabers. We're going to be dropping the new saber in just a couple of days here. The first one's going to be starting at $175. Going to be offering 2 different designs, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. All the money goes back to Vader Episode 2. In fact, I just got an invoice right now from one of the artists. So thanks, guys, for dropping in. See you on Mauler's channel. See you on my channel.
Yeah.
All the best. May the Force be with you. Bye.
And you're sounding like a separatist.